JM Truth is busy moving into a new house that he can't have a conversation with you. But wait, go over the whole thing. Because I didn't catch it all.
Oh, I was just saying that me and Jay and Truth have been talking, and he says he's up for having more talks.
He say he was done with you?
Yeah, no, but he wants to. Yeah.
All right, well, we're live, by the way.
Hey.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Team Skeptic Live. Of course, as you know, let me put me on camera. I'm your host, Team Skeptic, and with me, as always, I have my good compadres, Fight the Flat Earth, and Sean Hufford. We'll start with you, Sean. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing. A little disappointed and a little trepidatious about tonight, but other than that.
Why are you trepidatious about tonight?
Well, because I think tonight's going to be an emotional one.
Oh, yeah, now I get it. Trepidatious about tonight. All right, give me 1 second, and I'll get the framework. Ooh, I don't want you on my spot. Fight the Flat Earth. You got to go to your own spot. Hold on. All right,
they say they're getting an echo.
Oh, God dog it. That's right. Excuse me. I'll fix that.
Well, not only audibly, but now visually as well.
Okay.
There's two of me. Ah.
Echo fixed, and now let me fix the visual echo that we have up there.
Double Craig.
All right, so now, okay, so we're here tonight. Sorry about that. I forgot that I didn't have my headset on and that we were dealing with the pre-show audio that we normally deal with, and they're used to the echo. But guys, hey, how are y'all doing tonight?
Well, I've already said.
Good man.
Oh,
It
yeah,
would be
it's
nice
an
if a flat
emotional-
earther could turn up.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, first off, let's address, we do have a new member, UTB Doug. Thank you, sir, very much. Everybody show UTB Doug. If you're a member out there, go ahead and show him that, those crazy dingers. Let him see your dinger for a minute. Let it all hang out. And then when you get done showing off your dinger, you know what you got to do next. You got to go full fucking harassment and go ahead and whip out the meat tube. There we go.
You
that
be
one's
Mandela.
yeah. That's for you, UTB Doug. That's for you. But anyway, so we're supposed to have a conversation with Spurs tonight. However, Spurs is doing the normal flat Earth tactic of how to win. The best way to win a debate is to not show up at all. So unfortunately, you're stuck with us three, unless he messages me, or unless a flat earther out there wants to come on. You're more than welcome to come on tonight. We do have an open spot. But let's see who's all in the chat before we get started tonight. MA2 Fletcher Eisler, what's going on, my brother? Gravity Axe, how you doing, sir? Sitting Porcupine, you're an idiot. Just kidding, man. Love you. Let's see, Demonic Davros, what's going on, man? Hey, no problem at all with that, Demonic. As you know, this is not a pay-to-watch channel. I appreciate all donations, but the one thing I would appreciate...
You told me I have to pay every time.
Well, you do, yeah, but Demonic Davros does not have to pay. In fact, none of my viewers have to pay. This is a fun channel. We have a good time. We do it for the entertainment, you know. There's enough tips that come in that gets everybody, that helps support me and helps me get to the next, be able to continue to do what I'm doing and get to the next video and whatnot without starving. But at the same time, I'm not really hurting for it that bad. If you look down below, there is a link for tips. So if you'd like to tip, you can always tip below, or you can super chat as well, I believe. Oh, wait. Are super chats turned off?
Not on my end.
No, I can see the super chat button.
Maybe it just won't let me super chat myself. Okay. Well, that's all right, too.
You should still see it.
Yeah, I still see it. Maybe it's because I'm using the YouTube Studio Beta, which sucks. Sucks crazy butthole. Hey, new member, Bodie McBoatface, one of my favorite fucking people in the whole fucking world. Everybody, as with UTB Doug, show him your dingers. Yeah. Ooh, those sexy dingers.
Could get demonetized.
And then when you're done showing him your dingers, show him your meat tube. Yeah, good job, guys. Good job. All right. Sean Carroll says, let's debate if triangles exist. You know, triangles existing, that's a funny one. That actually is a funny one. I've actually been doing a lot of mathematical research and stuff, and getting up on my math and my mathematical theorems and being able to explain certain mathematical properties.
You've been blowing my mind with stuff.
Yeah. Well, somebody had once challenged me with Zeno's paradox of being able to prove it. And it's not a difficult proof. It's not easy to understand, but it's not difficult either. And then there's some quantum physics math that doesn't make sense when you try to think of it in terms of basic arithmetic. So it's interesting. Just say it's interesting to say the least. We do have a couple of super chats. Let me get to those. B-ball for life works just fine. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, wait, maybe that's your dinger. Yeah, your dinger works just fine. That's amazing. Thank you for telling me. I'm glad I got that information. I wouldn't have been able to sleep later without it. Josiah Hansen, one of my favorite people also of all time. $2. Good evening, Team Skeptic and FTFE. Globe for everyone.
Good evening,
hey,
sir.
don't forget the man, the voice, the Sean Hufford. John Rapp, $5 Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Can I sit at the great kids table? Or at the geek kids table? Actually, it's the great. I see geek, I read great. Yeah. Can I sit at the geek kids table, please? Listening in from sunny Sydney. It's a great day for baseball. Go the Bears.
Wait.
I don't think that's how
How's that
you
possible?
say
I thought
it.
Australia didn't exist.
Well, I'm actually going to check something because, Sydney's supposed to be sunny right now. I'm going to go check it on Himalaya 8.
Right? Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight's show, since Spurs is not apparently showing up, if we have any flat earthers that are in the chat that would like to join, believe me, we'd love to have you guys come on and talk. Tell us why you believe the earth is flat, and we'll go ahead and give you a couple of reasons why you're crazy as fuck and you're a total fucking idiot. Ding. Yes, I don't have a dinger tonight, guys. I'm so sorry. I feel like I let you down when I come to a live stream without a live dinger. And as before I've said, there will be no fake dingers during... What?
Aussie Globehead.
Aussie Globehead.
Oh. One.
He knows I'm very OCD about binary.
Oh, yeah,
So-
no. Yeah, so... Ozzy, I love you, man. You're amazing. Let me read it out though. 11111000011. Team, pass this on to Sean Hufford. He will understand why. Big hugs. That's what that means, Sean. Nope, that means big hugs. Here,
It's Theta Box this time.
let's go ahead and get him back. And besides, there you go. That one's for you, Ozzy. Here you go, Ozzy. I'm showing you my meat tube, Ozzy. Okay, you get to see it. There you go. Thank you very much, Ozzy. I appreciate it. But okay, so there was a great member comment just a second ago, and I want to read this out. Charlie bought 5. He says Spurs is a pussy. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Bitch made, yeah. Hashtag. Put hashtag bitch made in the chat if you think he's bitch made. Put hashtag pussy in the chat if you think he's a pussy for not showing up. Or put 42 if you think it's both. We'll wait for your responses. But okay, Schrodinger's cat, $1.99 CIA said to send you money. Thank you, Schrodinger's cat. Hey, I meant to tell you, man, I haven't responded to your text message, and I totally fumbled the ball on that, but I do appreciate your congratulations, and I meant to reach out to you about something else not too long ago, and I just haven't, man. You got to forgive me. Ever since all this shit has been going down, I've had to kind of step away and collect my own thoughts, and I came back from what I
apparently
believe
Spurs
to
is in
be-
the chat.
Spurs is not in the fucking chat. He better not be. Get your ass in here,
No,
Spurs.
he absolutely is.
He's saying
Come on,
he
Spurs.
he thought you said tomorrow.
This is tomorrow.
No, Spurs,
We
right
talked
now.
yesterday. What are you talking about? Spurs. Everybody.
He says,
Spurs,
give
I
me the
won't-
link.
You have the link. Look in Skype, Spurs. And we won't be rude. That's the whole point. We were being rude because you weren't showing up. But now you're here, so we won't be rude. We'll have a conversation. Let's go.
Now, if Spurs comes in, the way these conversations normally go is that we end up defending the globe. How about we get him to defend Flat Earth for a change?
Okay.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
we could do that. Because I have no problem.
Because there's so
attacking
many things that there is only explanations for on a globe, and I just want to see if he can explain some of them.
you. All right, let's see.
All right. Spurs, if you haven't checked Skype, then check your Discord. I'll send you a link on there if you can't get hold of it on Skype.
Carl Christofferson, hey team, here's some sex. And when he says team, he means all of us. So Sean, you're putting on the camera tonight, and you'll be responsible for the sex dance. No, I'll still do a sex dance tonight, but you guys do have to understand something. I told Fight the Flat Earth this. This is why I call it soccer, okay? Because yesterday I tried to play European football with a friend of mine, and I fucked up my hip. So if I would have been playing soccer, I would have been totally fine, but I tried to play European football y'all's way, and it fucked my hip up. So I'll still do the sex dance, but it might be a funny sex dance. Let me see. Okay, he messaged me. Let's see what he says. You said tomorrow, man. He said you said tomorrow. Okay, so
you said tomorrow yesterday.
Hold on. Yeah, it was 4:25 in the morning. That really. So I guess he thought I meant tomorrow, Saturday, because it was Friday for him. Okay. He says, but I'm here. Okay, Spurs, we'll take back. I'll make everybody take it back. I am so sorry, bro. Because you do have a legitimate... There he is. How you doing, Spurs? You do have a legitimate excuse. My bad for being a dick. You know that's how I am, so...
I was thinking Saturday night we're going to have a debate. I didn't think you meant this night, but obviously time difference and whatnot. But
yeah,
my bad.
The thing is, with a globe, there's a globe on these, time zone globe. That's what happens.
No, we can blame the fact that Team Skeptic doesn't sleep human hours. So, he slept between then, so he's calling this tomorrow.
That's because he's not human. He is a meatbag.
Yeah,
okay, so let me. Before we get moving forward, let me address. We do have a new member. Just Laughing is a new member. Everybody, show him your dinger first, and then you know what comes next, guys. That's right. The meat tube. Give him the meat tube.
I feel like the Mankini isn't getting enough attention.
The Mankini. Oh God, yeah.
Anyway, I need 10 minutes anyway to just get settled. So I will be.
Yep.
I'll stay. Yeah. So just give me do your thing and give me 10 minutes. 5-10 minutes.
Okay, I'll mute you, and then when I see you talking, I'll unmute you.
He's a bit quiet as well, team. Are you able to raise his audio?
I'll do my best. I'll do my best, but I'm not sure. Okay, so meat tubes, mankinis, dingers, idiot inside. Oh, what's this? DJ Most 10,000. I'm sorry, 10,000. 10,000.
10,000.
10,000 euros, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Can't number today.
More good stuff, team.
10,000 euros.
And now into all. All right, let's go. We're gonna have a great conversation tonight. We're gonna do what you say, Fight the Flat Earth. I like that idea. I want to challenge. His beliefs. We'll do that. And then also, I want to point out that we have a few shows tonight, or over the weekend. I'm sorry. We have tonight's show. We have me. I'm on right now. After this, we're gonna wait a few hours, and then we'll have Sean's tribute to Strike. A great person, great man, great addition to this community, and a tragic loss to this community, hands down. So we'll be honoring him in the best way we know how to, and that's by doing a show at the times he used to do the show. It'll be tonight at 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern. It's going to be real hard for you guys that are in Europe because of the time, but I'm sure it'll be up so you can go and watch the shenanigans at a later date. $2 Australian dollars from Demonic Davros. Never apologize to a flirt. There's times when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. Because technically, it was 10:30 in the morning for him. It was 4:30 in the morning for me when we were having these conversations. And I said, hey, tomorrow night, thinking tonight. And so to his credit, he does get a pass on that. So, but he still has to go ahead and defend his position tonight, and that's what we're going to force him to do. Oh, hey, Sean Hufford, Thomas Miller's requesting the GoFundMe link. Can you go ahead and put that in the chat for everybody?
All right, just a second.
And go ahead and explain what that's for, and I'm bringing Spurs back in. It looks like his mic's ready. You ready, Spurs, or do you still need it?
Yeah, is my mic okay?
It might be a little bit low.
Check, 1 2 1 2.
I'm looking at
Is that any better though?
for a second it
That's
was.
better.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine.
Good
That's
to
fine.
hear.
So how are you doing tonight, Spurs?
Yeah, great, better than ever. Ready to explain the self-evident, because I understand you want evidence for the flat Earth. That's what I heard Craig.
Yeah, of
say.
course we do.
Well, not so much evidence for the flat Earth. We would like you to explain some things that, as far as I'm concerned, are only possible on a rotating globe. Things like having 2 tides a day. Since the Etvos effect, things like that. How does the flat Earth explain these phenomena? Because they are explained quite easily on a globe. I mean, we could start with the tides, because that's a good one. I've been dealing with that quite a lot lately.
Well, the reason, I mean, look, you say that the moon pulls the tides, right? I could go with that, but the reason of why it pulls the tides would be a different reason, I would say. So you believe there's a force, a gravitational pull, and, I believe somewhat the opposite, where there's a negative force, a negative pressure, if you like, that pulls the atmosphere, which obviously would pull the tides and give you that tide pull that you're describing. So that's how I would understand it.
Okay.
Because you have hot temperatures. You have hot temperatures that push, and then you have a cold. The opposite, a cold pull. So at night we have the moon gives off its own light. It does its own thing. It pulls all the dirty atmosphere around it, giving you a nice clean air, a nice clean sky, which is why the best time to make any observations, like long distance wise, is first thing in the morning, right? When you've got just light, when the atmosphere has been essentially cleaned.
Okay. Well, let's go back to what you were saying about there being this negative pressure. How does that explain the fact that you get 2 high tides and 2 low tides every day? Because if it's just to do with night and day, then that would only be one cycle, right?
No, because what you've got here is a presupposed ball, and you presuppose that this is what would happen. But all you've got, if it were a flat plane, which it is that the moon goes around the plane and pulls the water as it goes around. So it works the same.
Okay, but that doesn't explain why there is 2 tides a day. That's the point I'm making here. If you go with your assumption that it's the moon going around above us, pushing the water over, that would be 1 tide a day they would create. But there is pulling or pushing. Well, okay. But still, if you're going with it just being the moon going above and pulling, that would only give 1 tide a day, right? But there is 2 high tides and 2 low tides a day. So how does the flat Earth explain that? Because it's quite easily explained on the globe.
2 high tides. So you think on one side of the ball there's a high tide, on the other side there's a high tide.
That's factual.
Yes. That is, trust me, I was a sailor. That there is 2 high tides and 2 low tides a day.
Yeah, but people answer that. You're presupposing that the Earth is a ball. Like, if you ask me that, how do you explain 2
But see,
high tides?
Spurs, the question has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth at this point. He's asking how you're explaining 2 tides. If you're in one location, say you're at the harbor in New York, you will experience 2 high and 2 low tides every day.
Right.
He's wanting to explain that
the
on a flat Earth with your moon issue.
Oh, yes, I have to think. So you do have sometimes a daytime moon, the moon and the daytime. So, unless we get a look from the outside and all kinds of positions, well, we don't know what's actually... so we do have a daytime moon. We know that much. So we don't actually know...
Not all the time, though.
Yeah, Spurs, you're missing the point. Every single day of every single year, there is always 2 high tides and 2 low tides. Every single day.
Right, well, I can only put it down to you then, like I've said. Are you saying that there's a high tide when the sun is out, not because of the moon?
Well, the moon, it's to do with summation of forces, but let me explain to you why there is 2 tides. Yeah, let me explain to you why there's 2 tides on the globe, okay? Now, if you see the picture in front of you, imagine the point closest to the moon is point A. In the middle of the Earth is point B. And the point furthest from the moon on the other tide is point C. Now, the water closest to the moon is going to be experiencing the strongest gravitational pull due to the fact it's closer to the moon. But the Earth is also being pulled towards the moon. And as the Earth is pulled towards the moon, it leaves the water behind because the water on the other side of the moon has the least amount of gravitational influence from the moon. So it's the water being pulled, then the Earth being pulled behind that, which leaves the gap of the water behind it. And when you actually look at the vectors of the summation of the forces, you get something like this. And the only points where it's going straight down is when you're literally along the same point of the moon and the Earth as a straight line. But because of the fact that the Earth is moving towards the moon as well, it leaves a bulge of water on the opposite side of the moon. And because there's the two bulges, it means that it squishes the water at the top and top bottom, wrong phrasing, but you know what I mean. That's why you get the low tides. And then as the Earth rotates within these bulges, you get a high tide, a low tide, a high tide, and a low tide. Because you got to remember, it's not just the water that's being pulled towards the moon; it is also the Earth. But because the center of the Earth is further away from the moon than the leading bit of water, and it kind of follows it and then leaves the bulge behind because that has the least amount of gravitational influence because it's the furthest away from the moon. Now, when you said about the fact that it's the sun and everything as well, it does have an influence because there's a thing called a spring tide. Well, sorry, I thought you were saying...
No. I'm asking that if the moon and the sun are on the same side, what happens then on your board?
You get a spring tide.
How does that affect the tides?
Yeah. You get a spring tide. There is a point in the year where the moon, the sun, and the Earth all line up, and you get a spring tide. It's an exceptionally large tide.
Can you model it, Craig? Model your moon and sun.
I will be able to. I've recently bought Universe Sandbox, and I'm going to try and create models and then clips to be able to explain it a lot better. But that's why you get a spring tide, and then what's the name of it when it's the
neap tide,
the opposite of the spring tide? Neap tide. That's when neap tide. That's when the moon is perpendicular to the sun and the Earth. So you get the lowest amount of high tide. It matches all the calculations and the orbital mechanics that you would expect with the gravitational influences based on our model. So it goes back to how do you have these calculable, you can literally set your watch by the fact you know when these tides are going to be, and there is 2 high tides every day. So I don't know how a flat Earth can explain that.
Yes, but you have the sun and the moon in the same place at the same time. So that effect, is happening a lot quicker than you actually think. Because unless you can show how the tides are when the moon and the sun are close, well, then you're just presupposing, the ball in the first place, and that the model is what you say it is. You see. That's the problem. Well, because we only deal with science, you see. And if, for example, you make a claim about the natural and physical world, like, what you've just said there, you would have to prove that with science.
But you still haven't explained how we have 2 tides a day on the flat Earth.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That was my point.
To answer that question, how else can you answer it other than with science? But
you made the assertion that tides are caused by the colder low pressure or the negative pressure at night with the moon, and the positive hot temperature and pressure with the sun. But that only accounts for 1 tide.
Yeah. That's
so where do you get your second tide every day from?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You would have to show how this would look with the sun and the moon on the ball, and what happens to the sides on the other side.
But see, Spurs, he asked you a question about your model, and you're completely avoiding answering questions about what you said.
Okay, so
I've given you the explanation of how... Sorry, carry on.
So, so Spurs, check it out. Here, tonight what we're going to do things just a little differently than normal, okay? We're going to just ask you about the flat Earth. Okay, we don't care about the shape of the Earth being the globe Earth or not. What we're going to do is we want to understand why it is you believe that the Earth is flat. Now, when you give us your answers, we're going to, of course, respond back with what we believe science to say, but that's how we're going to go tonight. We're not really going to be attacking the globe. We're going to not even make a presupposition that there is a globe. We're only going to be talking about your flat Earth tonight, okay?
Oh, right, yeah, I got you. So, I
Okay.
mean, obviously, the first reason why we know and observe the Earth to be flat is because, regardless of the altitude, the horizon stays completely flat, and it's always at eye level. You see,
Which I've demonstrated directly to you that is not true.
No, but what you think is the horizon is not actually the horizon. This is the problem that the globe Earthers have, is actually pointing out the actual horizon compared to the...
Well, let me remind you, Spurs. Let me remind you, Spurs, that when I actually demonstrated this to you, it was showing the sun setting below eye level. So you can't use the horizon only sets behind the horizon, correct?
No, we don't know where the horizon is. This is the thing, that the horizon changes on a daily basis. You know, one moment it could be, you know, you're 6 foot, you can see 3 miles.
What now?
The next day, but you can see, you know, 4 miles. It depends on the atmosphere, right?
We're not talking seeing distance. We're talking about eye level.
Yeah.
Now,
so that
You said
Can you see
the
the
horizon
picture I've got on the screen?
You said the horizon
No,
always
but
appears at eye
I can
level,
see the screen,
and I've
yeah.
got
I can see
demonstrable
the-
proof, and Spurs is, Fight the Flat Earth is showing demonstrable proof the horizon is not at eye level.
All right. So you've seen you've seen that world record photograph, right? Where Soundly in his forum shows the true horizon. You must have seen that. I think Jaren was going back and forth some years ago.
And how did you know that was the true horizon?
So you've seen that image, yeah?
Answer my question. How did you know that was the true horizon?
What do you mean, how did he know?
Because it was backlit by the sun, correct?
No, he worked it out that the apparent horizon was where the sun was setting, and he understood that the true horizon was somewhat above. In fact, he worked out the true horizon was where the level of that red line is there.
Except for the fact that in that video and the image that Jarrett took from somebody, the mountain that's off to the right is actually lower than the observer, but yet the horizon's even below that.
Yeah, but I'm not.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we're talking about locating the true horizon. Where is it? And that's the problem that we're having here. You think that line is the true horizon, but we've shown many times. Look at Red's Rhetoric's video with when that rocket thing fell behind the horizon. You know, we couldn't see where the true horizon was. You see, that's the point.
So I mean, the true horizon looks pretty evident right there. I mean, it doesn't. It's below those two red lines.
Let me ask the question.
So. Go ahead.
If you don't know where the true horizon is, Spurs, how can you make the claim that horizon always rises to eye level?
Ding ding.
Well, we can determine the true horizon with devices like this, what Sean's or what you're providing here. This will give us a true, like a theodolite.
Okay,
if you were to do a theodolite, crosshairs would meet with the true horizon.
So you're saying that the way to tell, you can use this machine to determine what the true horizon is because this machine will always show you the true horizon. That's like
always.
That's circular reasoning.
So why isn't the horizon rising to the eye level then?
Yeah, the true horizon. This horizon here will always stay at the at the true horizon, always. So below the red line,
no horizon there.
Look, check it out. Below the red line and the hard horizon, that is land. But that is called the dirty air. That layer that you can't. That ether band.
But see, that's why I like my observation. That's why I like my observation because the sun's setting. When I show that the horizon is going lower, proves that dirty air claim is bunk, because we can watch the sun set. Spurs, you have seen it at least 6 times now.
No, but look, you can
see. We go over this every time we bring up the horizon.
Yeah, but if you look to the left in this video, you can see the clouds, right? There's a layer there, yeah? And that red line is the true horizon. Behind that, if you were to fire a laser straight ahead, you would not. You would go straight across the flat plane. The entire plane from one end that is where you would get your radar,
Right, Spurs.
your line of sight. Yeah.
So if you look to the left of the red liquids, you can see that line that is a cloud. So there's a cloud below that line. So you're saying that we can see a cloud below the true horizon?
Well, again, it's to do with perspective, isn't it? What happens? The light bends down. You guys tell us that the light bends up.
Perspective,
Okay,
right.
perspective would bring it closer. If that cloud is above the observer, perspective will only bring that cloud closer to eye level, given additional
you don't
distance.
understand.
It would never
No.
take
When
it
you're
below the
outside-
eye level.
Yeah.
Right,
but
if
when
you want to
you're
talk about
outside-
perspective, then this one is a good one to show you.
Right, again, the true
Because-
horizon. Yeah, where's the true horizon? That's the question we have to ask. Now, you guys seem to think it's where the sky meets the land. But that's just the apparent
Yeah, that's the
horizon.
definition of
That's
the horizon.
that's what the horizon is.
Yeah, but it's not the true. We know that it... Yeah, but we know that the sky is not really touching the ground, right? We know that. So
Yeah,
if
it
we were
is.
to go there...
But see, Spurs,
it's not
you're missing the
really-
point here. You keep making claims about where the true horizon is, but the visible horizon still doesn't rise to eye level. You are making a claim without any evidence or measurements.
Yeah, the apparent horizon does it, but the true horizon does, yeah.
How do you know if you can't see it?
Because we've been able to zoom beyond that apparent horizon point.
No,
When the
that's
ship
not how that
disappears,
works though. That's
we
not
can
how
bring
that
the
works,
ship
man.
back.
You're talking
can
about
bring the ship back.
resolution now, but yeah, you're talking about resolution, not like that's a whole different thing. Okay, so go back to where we had the mountains that were taller than the observer but below the observer eye height. Okay, go
Yeah,
back to
any
that
picture. Show me any picture.
Okay, so
Any
that mountain
picture. I will show you
is
the
that
picture.
right? The mountain in the back is taller than the observer. Is that correct? And it's below the eye level.
Mountain in the back.
Isn't there a mountain behind that?
No,
or-
I mean,
Is that okay? So we're just looking at just the horizon drop here, right? So you're saying there's land beyond that, and if we zoomed in, if we just zoomed in
Yeah.
on this picture, we would be able to see, or if with the camera, there would be land all the way going up to that red line.
yeah. If you
Why
have
do
infrared,
flat
now, you
earthers
know-
not why do flat earthers not do this picture to shut us up? Why
We've done it.
is it
Jay
always
told
you
us.
can do it and not here? Let me show you where a flat earther has done it.
But you know that Jay Tolan guy? He goes in a plane, uses infrared, and sees way further than this, miles beyond this, and beyond
Yeah.
the true. Yeah.
Different
so we've done it.
wavelengths
We've
of
got the
light will
infrared
bend
cameras.
more. Okay, yeah, different wavelengths of light will bend more.
No, but I'm saying like you can take any picture. Look, see here again. Look, the true horizon. Soundly.
The true
have a look at
horizon
Soundly's
what? No, hold on. The true horizon what? Because there is no land. There is sky. There is sky between the line and the ground. Spurs. How do you explain that? There is no land going up to the eye level. There is no perspective you can work out here. There's even perspective lines drawn there for you to show you. The land does
Yeah, but
not
look
go
how-
up to the eye level. Sorry, but that's
but
not
look how
how...
You
Look how
can
dirty
literally
that area.
see it. But right, if you look under where it says eye level, you can see what I think is an electricity pylon. So
Yeah, I can see that.
it's showing you that's there is no land after that. It's the sky. If there was
What, so
land,
you
you'd
think-
be able to see something.
You think behind that horizon the Earth is going down?
Yes.
No, it's not. Obviously, no,
Yeah.
of course not. That that band there, obviously, is just a dirty layer.
Wow.
I mean, Ranty's shown you this many times. Things compress as they reach the horizon.
Ranty's an
I mean, this
amazing
is-
bloke,
Okay,
Hoover.
okay, but well, how does that explain the sun then? When you can see half of the sun above the horizon and the bottom half below, did it only compress the bottom half into a line?
No, because,
No,
no,
because
the
it's actually
atmosphere-
going behind a horizon, and the horizon is blocking half of the sun.
No, the sun stays
Yeah.
in the air the whole time. It doesn't
No.
go down anywhere. But what
Then why do you
happens
see
is it
the
goes
sun go
behind-
down? Then why do you see the sun go down?
Because the light, the atmosphere bends the light down towards the horizon. And that's why
The
it looks to
atmosphere
you-
bends the light down to the horizon. That's
Yeah, you
your
see
your
Rob
final
Stevens did it.
argument.
Pull up Rob
Do you have
Yeah,
any
pull up
math?
Rob-
Do you have any math to prove this? Do you have any way of proving that this is a possibility? Because I'm calling bullshit
Yeah.
bullshit on that.
No, no,
You can. I
Right,
agree.
um,
I agree that the light will bend as it goes through the atmosphere, but it doesn't bend as much as you think it's bending. But we'll,
yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know Rob Skiba. Now, he did a demonstration with a Fresnel lens, and he showed...
Yeah, but oh my God, the atmosphere is not a Fresnel lens, though.
Let me explain to you about the Fresnel lens again. Again, Spurs, since this will be the fourth time I've brought it up with you. The Fresnel lens, if Rob Skiba was correct, the atmosphere would become more dense the higher you got. Because he's using the bottom half of a Fresnel lens.
No. That is just to replicate what we hypothesize is happening in the real world.
Exactly.
Oh my God, yeah, exactly what Sean's saying. Exactly what Sean's saying. You hypothesize something that's completely impossible. And then you say, look, but it gives us the same results. It must be. But then we say, okay, well, how come we don't see air pressure going up as we get higher? Right? It should be going up and going up in both directions, right, Sean? It should be getting higher going up and higher going down from the middle point.
Rob Skiba wanted to model out an atmosphere using a Fresnel lens. The best way he can make that analogy is to cut the lens in half, down the center, and use the top half of the lens.
Exactly.
With the densest part of the lens at the bottom.
Yeah, but
and he would not get the same results.
No, but remember, when you have an observation, you form a hypothesis. Then you conduct an experiment. So we manipulate...
But if your hypothesis does not match reality, your hypothesis is wrong. Rob Skiba's demonstration would only work if the atmosphere became more dense as altitude is gained.
No, because you find out... does the atmosphere... Go on.
Rob Skiba would be right with his demonstration if the atmosphere got more dense as you went up. But we know that isn't the case.
True. That's not the case here.
With the Fresnel lens using the bottom half of it, that absolutely is the case. That's why he used it, because it doesn't match reality.
No, but you predict the cause. What's causing the sun to do this? So you read.
And his prediction is a thicker atmosphere as altitude is gained, and it's wrong.
Okay. Spurs. Hold on. Here's what you're missing right here. Okay. We're gonna say Rob Skiba makes an observation. Okay, that he wants to believe. He has a personal bias towards that he wants to prove. Okay, and that's fine. You can have that. You're absolutely allowed to enter into the experiment with a bias. The only thing you can't do is carry that bias through the experiment. So he makes his hypothesis and says, you know what? The atmosphere is like a Fresnel lens. And that's what he says, right? Well, now he has to go out and make sure that observations match his experiment. Because he can say that all but he can actually say, look, I can get the same demonstration. But now he has to go out and show how that is an analogous representation to his experiment with the actual atmosphere outside. Now, if you go outside and you see a Fresnel lens being created by the atmosphere, then by all means you've got an argument. But that's not what we see. What we see is an atmosphere that goes up, and the pressure of the atmosphere and the density of the atmosphere is a gradient from the surface all the way up to the edge of space. So it's not the same thing. Our model is not the same thing as what Rob Skiba says it is. They're not.
No, the simpler thing is Rob Skiba's modeling of the atmosphere is not equivalent to the atmosphere as it exists in reality.
That's what I try to say. He just said it much more simpler than I did. I was getting overly complicated about it. But that's what I was basically saying. It doesn't match reality. Therefore, discard it. If you hold on to it, you're holding on to a fairy tale. You're saying, well, I can't have my prediction not go my way, so it must be this. Well, that's a bias you just can't take through the experiment, or else your experiment's bullshit. So can you demonstrate that the atmosphere does actually act like a Fresnel lens?
No, but what can we demonstrate is that light refracts. So in order for light to refract in the atmosphere, it has to act like a lens, or it wouldn't refract, would it? And that's
not a Fresnel lens,
But Rob Skiba is using the bottom half of the Fresnel lens to get light to refract the opposite way that it does in reality.
And the answer here is yes, the Earth's atmosphere refracts light. One notable effect is that objects near horizon appear higher than they should be. So
but Spurs, we already take that into account. You're not telling us anything new. Yes, we understand that.
What you've done, you've taken the atmosphere, you've realized, okay, it acts like a lens. and you've used it for your argument for the heliocentric
No.
model to benefit your model. You see? But
No,
we're
no, no,
saying
no,
that
not
it
at
acts
all.
like a
Spurs. There's a huge difference in the way we make a correction for refraction and the way you're trying to make a correction for refraction. What we say is that the sun will appear somewhere where it's not really. It's a few degrees off because of refraction. What you're saying is that the sun is being taken from a point in the sky and making it look like it's below the horizon at all times in the night, by the way. But that's not the case. Okay. Okay, hold on. Go ahead.
The argument is, does the atmosphere act like a lens? And even in your model,
No, specifically a
the
Fresnel
atmosphere
lens, like
reflects.
you cited Rob Skiba with.
Yes, but it acts like a lens, even in your model. It
Not a
refracts
Fresnel
light.
Which I
lens.
explained to you, if you were going to use a Fresnel lens to do this, you would have to cut it in half so the densest part is at the ground, and it gets less dense with altitude, just like our atmosphere. And Rob Skiba would not get the result that he liked. Because in our atmosphere, it is densest closest to the ground, and it gets less dense as you go up.
Yeah, but that would happen in
Which is
his
the opposite
demonstration.
of a Fresnel lens.
No, but in his demonstration, he has more dents at the bottom of it anyway.
No,
Naturally,
he does not. He has the bottom outside edge of a Fresnel lens at the ground level. He has the center above the table, which is the most dense part of the Fresnel lens. So it actually raises density as it goes higher.
That doesn't make any sense. The ground is the most dense part, yeah?
But Rob Skiba's modeling of it does not reflect that.
Yeah, but how can he change the order of the density when he's doing his test?
I just told you, cut the lens in half so the densest part is at the ground, and it gets less dense as you go up.
Yes, but
He wanted to do that, and there's a reason why he can't do that, because it will not get the results he wants.
Yes, but in nature, Sean, it's already dense at the bottom anyway.
That's the point we're trying to get across to you, Spurs. Rob Skiba made a model that does not match reality, and you're using that as a source of information.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to
so
show you. I'm going to hold on, Spurs. I'm going to bring something to your attention as well. Okay, give me 1 second to load up this picture, because this is why it can't be what you're saying. Okay, hold 1 second. Okay, so do you see the picture in the middle? All right, you can see that fine, Spurs. Is that correct?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So the picture in the middle represents the equinox, all right? And that's at a
I'm not seeing
time...
anything.
I don't know what you're doing.
Well, I can just start, but that's not going to work.
Okay, hold on. Hear me out for a second. So when I'm not sure if... Yeah, you can see my mouse, okay? So when the sun... This represents the sun right here. It's at solar noon, it's above the equinox, and it's right here, okay? Now, here's the thing. If your lens was responsible for stopping the light at this distance, then how is the exact same atmospheric... It's the exact same atmosphere. There's no difference. But for some reason, it lets the light go all the way down here now. And it lets the light go all the way over here. But for some reason, it stops the light right here in a perfectly straight line. Now, if there's a ball, that's perfectly explainable. Half the ball is being shined on by the sun. Okay, but if we're talking about the flat Earth, and you're saying it's a Fresnel lens, then what you're going to have to explain is how the lens stops the light at this distance, but lets the light go to this distance. And still be consistent.
This model is wrong. Of course it doesn't work. You need to look at the sun and moon .com of the flat map. You know, where they model the sun and the sun's time, the moon's position.
Are you talking about David Weiss's app?
No. The sun and moon, the normal, what you would go to check where the sun is, and the time and date.
Spurs, listen to me, man. It's an observational fact that on the equinox, the half of the Earth that is lit up is perfectly 90 degrees perpendicular to the equator. Okay, so you're looking at one exact half of the Earth. You're always looking, one exact half is always lit up, but here you're looking at exactly one half of the Earth, one face of the Earth. Okay, this is an observational fact here. So you
Right,
can't
that's
weasel your
fine.
way out of it by saying that's not the way it is,
No,
because it is the way
you're
it is.
showing me a model. You're showing me a model that I don't subscribe to. Where'd you get this model from?
Well,
So
it's
you
not.
subscribe to the Mercator style map then?
No, I'm going to show you if I can find it.
Because that's what time and date uses?
Right. Okay, Spurs, can I ask you a question? In your flat Earth model, would it be possible for the moon to be below eye level?
The moon? Well, of course, because the light bends. Of course, the moon is its own light, so of course, why not?
But
Then
if
it doesn't
eye
bend that
level
much
is the
first.
if eye level if eye level is the horizon, then you wouldn't be able to see anything below that, right?
But this is
If
thing,
the
are you
moon is
looking at?
in, you know, it.
Yeah, but the
Could
thing
you
is,
put
are
my
you
screen
looking
back
at?
on, team?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Right.
are
So
you looking
this is
at
a
the true moon or the apparent moon? This is the problem.
no. This
Are
is
we
the true
looking
moon.
at a moon?
So this.
Mhm.
Let me explain where this picture came from. This was taken by someone that a lot of us know personally, MC Toon. Right. This is his photo that he took whilst he was on a plane, and it literally shows the moon being below eye level, which would completely destroy the
That's right.
assumption that horizon always rises to eye level. Because if that was the case, then the moon wouldn't be seen. It would be below the horizon. The same as you say the sun
No.
would go below the horizon because of perspective.
Goodness
So this
sakes.
picture is
Anything
impossible on the flat
below-
Earth.
No, anything below that that true horizon is in that band of air. So we don't know if we're looking at the true
So the-
moon now. You see, you'd have to.
So
So
if
MC
the
Toon
band
would
is
disagree with you.
hold on. So if this band that you're talking about blocks our view of things, so we can't see where the true horizon is, how are we seeing anything through the band,
No,
including
it doesn't always
the moon
block
here?
it. It doesn't always block it. You see the sun, don't you? Sometimes, and now you can see the moon here. But like I said, you'd have to show the moon going down into that dirty air, into that band, just to verify it, right? But yeah, if that's level there, if that's
What?
the true horizon, then yes, because the same thing happened with Soundly's sun picture with the world record. Same thing happened. Was it the true sun
Right.
or the apparent sun?
I don't
Soundly
understand what
said that
you
was the
mean.
apparent sun, didn't he?
Do you mean like when you say apparent sun? Do you mean like when we're talking about like this right here
Like
on
this,
screen?
yes, look,
Okay.
like this.
So this like I said before. You're not talking about the 30 or 40 degrees that it would have to drop to explain a sunrise or a sunset or sunrise on your flat Earth. Okay, this is like minimal refraction here that we're talking about. We're not talking about it dropping 40 degrees, 50 degrees.
No, but this is all. Look, so you see that white line that's at his feet, right? So
Yeah.
that would be the flat plane, and then you've got it going down. So what happens in reality? That sun would be just above his head, you know, where the clouds are, and it would
Do you
just go
realize-
straight.
Go ahead.
So
Go
look,
ahead.
well, what we've got here is the opposite of what happens in reality. So what you're showing, you just flip that around. That's what happens in reality.
But
So the sun
Spurs,
would
you're
go
talking
away.
about the light being refracted like this, and then it's just like all the way down to the Earth. It's not being a
but look at
gradual
those lenses.
refraction through a gradient.
No, that's not a gradient. Look at those lenses.
That is
They're
a gradient.
different
That is a gradient. The atmosphere is a gradient. The density of the
No, the
atmosphere is what
not a
controls the.
gradient. Look, again, you're presupposing that there's space. You're presupposing that where the sun
No,
is,
we
the
see
pressure is
observable
zero.
gradient. But Spurs, we see
Hold
an
on.
observable gradient, atmospheric pressure.
You said we weren't going to presuppose stuff. Now you're presupposing stuff.
No, I said we
You
see.
presupp-
No, hold on. I say we see an atmospheric gradient. That's all I said. This is observable. Anybody can do this.
No,
You can
no,
take a
it's
bag of chips up in an
temperature
airplane, and it'll.
Oh, are we going to
expand.
go with this again, Spurs? Please say we're going to go with this again.
Well, look, let me explain then. This where the dark area, the dark shaded. Let's put your mouse there.
Okay.
Yeah? Where the sun is, not where the sun. Yeah, up here, this area here. This area you say is 0, right? So as you go down into that shaded area, you get a pressure reading, right? And as you go down, down to the Earth, you say that as you reach here now, it's 14.7. Now you only have that 14.7 if where you think space is 0. you see. But all you have is a difference in temperature. As you rise, it gets colder and colder and colder until you reach, zero, which would be, we don't know because we haven't been there. So, yeah, there's no pressure gradient because you need a force.
So what's
to
holding
have
the
pressure.
atmosphere down then?
Before you look at that link, Skeptic, let's go back to the beginning of this conversation just for a second, because you said that the colder air at night creates a negative pressure, and the hotter air during the day creates a higher pressure, which is why we have tides.
No, not higher, positive temperature.
No, you also said pressure, which is why the tides change.
The sun is not a hairdryer. It doesn't blow out pressure. It just produces heat. That's it.
But you said that it was a temperature-based thing as well, and a pressure thing, because that's why the tides at night rise and tides of the day are lower. Going by what you said at the beginning of this. So since you're bringing up air pressure again, let's remind you that on Jose's channel, we got into a long discussion about how temperature has very little influence on pressure.
No, you did.
Skeptic, I get you a video.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Where
you want me to play that video?
Yeah, I've actually done a follow-up with that, and Spurs has seen this on the same Jose show. It's not a public video because it's got a couple of frames that can be cherry-picked out, and my channel can get demonetized.
Okay, so I'll play it. I don't care.
That one you can play. That one's fine. But I actually did a follow-up to this video because Spurs brought up a question, well, you didn't measure the temperatures, which I actually did in a follow-up video. Because I had the thermostat downstairs, and I had a weather thermometer upstairs. Downstairs was 75 degrees. Upstairs was 84. It was hotter upstairs, but the pressure went down as I went up.
Okay, so you want me to just play this outright?
Yeah, go ahead. That one you're fine with.
You see, that's the problem in the first place. You guys assume and follow your own rules and don't calculate the correct variables, right? That's the problem here. But play your video. Let's have a look.
All right, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay, now I'm gonna try to figure out how to get you guys. Make sure you guys hear it.
There's no real audio.
Oh, there's no volume. Okay, so we'll just you can talk us through it, Sean.
The text says it all. I mean, really, it does. Because this video was actually made because of one of JM Truth's claims that Spurs latched onto.
What it is it's relative temperature disequilibrium.
Yeah, but Spurs, that would mean
that's just words.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because go ahead and pause it for a second. Because the reason why I brought this to Spurs' attention is because he was in a debate with Crash RC, where Crash explains that he works on engines and air pressure is a huge thing that he has to calculate for when dealing with fuel-air mixtures. And he went into at lower levels, he's got to set it one way, and then as he goes up into higher altitude, he's got to give it, he's got to change the ratio because the air pressure goes down. And Spurs said that was all because it gets colder as the higher it goes up, the pressure goes down. So I got on and presented this video, and then it became, well, what's the moisture?
Stop misrepresenting. In a container, pressure and temperature go hand in hand. So if you're in a confined environment, then of course they go hand in hand. But outside, there is zero pressure, only temperature. You see? We don't live in a container, do we? Well, we don't live in a container, do we? So how can there be pressure with no walls or force to press on? Where does the pressure come from?
Well, hold on. You just said no force. You have atmospheric particles being pulled down on top of other atmospheric particles. That creates a force.
Pulled down? How? How?
With gravity. With gravity. Gravity pulls it down.
Yeah, but you said you don't want to get into it because gravity's not a force, is it? So you can't demonstrate gravity being a force, But
that's exactly which way you just went. So
no, I said you need a force for the pressure. Yes, or you need a wall or a force. We don't have either.
Yeah,
I just gave you one.
And in Newtonian physics, which in a local system is perfectly fine to use, gravity is a force, and gravity is the container that keeps the atmosphere on the Earth.
Man, I'm trying to think of which physicist it is. I think it might be Boltzmann. It might be Boltzmann that determined that the kinetic physics involved in all the motion of particles is completely Newtonian. So we
let's
can
not
use
let
gravity.
the gravity discussion here because let's stay on pressure.
Okay.
He says
Yep.
that it's all about temperature. There's zero pressure in the atmosphere, or zero temperature in the atmosphere. But then he says that it's temperature related or it's temperature based. So again, your claim still goes back to hotter equals higher pressure.
In
This
a
video
container,
demonstrates that
yes.
is
Only in a
100% false.
container, Sean.
Here, I'll
So
keep playing it.
what's your definition of air pressure in the atmosphere?
There is no air pressure in the atmosphere. Only water.
That's showing
pressure.
14.2305 psi at where it's at right now.
Of water pressure. Only water
No,
pressure.
that is air pressure. Do you even know how a barometer works?
All right.
Yeah, it's an open-ended device where
Nope, you're automatically
create a
wrong right there.
vacuum. Yeah, you create a vacuum and you
Wrong.
turn it upside down. You trap
Wrong.
the air, and then the air
Wrong.
will press on the open end, and that will give you a
Wrong.
pressure reading. Now this device, yeah, that
That's
device
literally
here
not how a
works-
barometer works.
A barometer is a sealed container that allows for particles to compress it. And how much it is compressed measures how much pressure is outside of that container.
No, it presses on the open end of the barometer, not the.
There is
sealed
no
end.
open end on a barometer.
Yeah, that's.
It
what
is
Have you
a
ever seen a
sealed
barometer,
container.
Spurs?
Yeah, show the first barometer ever made. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Type
Wait,
in
what
barometer.
now?
Let's have a look.
All right, I'm looking it up
Yeah.
right now. First barometer ever made. Images.
Yes, some images of it. Right, so
That looks closed. Let's see if we can find one that's open for you, Spurs. We're going to search, man. We're going to find it. We're going to help Spurs out tonight because I don't know if we're going to find one. That looks
you might have to go to
closed.
Wikipedia.
Wait.
look at
I
what-
think I may have something that actually backs up his claim there. So let me just. This looks open to me.
Is it a liquid barometer?
Hold on, let me get you on that.
Yeah,
on screen.
go to Wikipedia. They explain to you how they first devised.
Yeah. Is that used in an iPad, Spurs?
No.
Is
the
there?
iPad-
Are you actually saying there's a liquid barometer in my iPad?
No, your device is just a computer. Anyone can put that in. It has to be a real barometer, right? What you've got is just a computer where you could have just input 14.7.
Oh my God! You can't. No, hey Spurs. Yes. Okay. Let's go ahead and say that. Of course, there's always the possibility that you're going to be able to manipulate those numbers. But did Sean really manipulate those numbers? Come on, bro.
Not him,
That'd be
the
like if you
manufacturer.
showed me your iPad and you were like, I took these measurements. I would at least take you at face value, Spurs, because I wouldn't think you would be that disingenuous. I know Sean. He's not that disingenuous. So he
Yeah,
doesn't
not
have a
sure.
liquid barometer. He doesn't have a liquid barometer in his iPad. Okay, and it is a barometer in his iPad. So now try to explain that, given those two givens.
No, Sean, how is it pressing on your phone? So when you squeeze your phone, is there pressure being applied to your phone?
Well,
of course
since
not.
it's not the face of the phone that's actually measuring anything, no. There is a small container inside the phone, or it's not a phone, it's an iPad. But there's a small container, and it's got little leaves in there, and they're attached to the walls of that container. As those walls get compressed or released, the capacitance between those leaves gets adjusted. And it's measuring that and saying, okay, if the walls are now this far apart, this is the pressure it would take to get those leaves where they're at.
Right.
The
so
walls
if it
are
was
being
that
pressed in on from all sides.
Yeah, if it was that sensitive, as soon as you touch the phone, it would take a pressure reading. If it was real
If I was
pressure and
touching
not-
the barometer, yes, you are correct. The barometer is internal to the phone. There is no way to actively touch it.
Yeah, so like I said, you're reading temperature, not pressure, not like you're standing on it applying pressure, right, or squeezing it with your hand. That's real pressure. That's not what's happening in the atmosphere. And you can't demonstrate that. You can't show
Yes,
that you're
we
able to
can.
control the temperature.
Yeah,
How?
no, hold on. Regardless of temperature, we can demonstrate two different atmospheres next to each other. We don't. What you're saying is like fluid dynamics. You're talking about fluid dynamics and the relationship between temperature and pressure. And yes, there's a relationship for sure. okay? But we're not dealing with a closed system that's easy to contain and find direct relationships between the two given volumes and stuff like that. We're dealing with an actively dynamic atmosphere, okay? So what we do know,
Not really.
Spurs,
No,
what
not
we do
really.
know, hold on, Spurs, what we do know is that at the surface, there's about 14.7 pounds of PSI. Is that right? About 14.7? Is that what the PSI is at the
That's
surface?
what they tell us.
Yeah,
Okay.
on
So-
average.
It's relatively close to that all the way around the globe. All right? We would notice the difference if we went to, let's say, somewhere where it's cold and there was 24 pounds of pressure because everything was condensing around us due to temperature. But we don't see that. We see a pretty
Hold on, what did you
consistent...
say? Hold on. Did you say the pressure would increase when it was colder?
If you decrease the volume of gas and you...
So if you
I
went
mean-
to the North Pole, you're saying there'd be more pressure.
If it was
I'm saying
temperature,
the atmosphere would be close. The atmospheric particles would be closer together. Yes, there'd be less atmospheric motion between them, and they would get closer
14.7 would
together.
go up.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So you're saying that when you go to a colder, like the Arctic or Iceland or somewhere, the pressure increases?
Going by your theory, yes.
No.
No, I'm saying
How-
that the atmospheric particles would get closer together. Yes.
So, but how is that possible? When you lower the temperature, you lower the
Because you
pressure.
reduce the amount of kinetic energy each molecule has. They don't bump off of each other as much because they're
Yeah.
not moving as much. That's temperature.
So it's low. Everything's lower then, isn't it? It's stopping. You can't have a higher pressure if everything.
No, okay, no, hold on. The pressure pushing out would be lower, okay? The internal pressure, they could get closer together because they're not vibrating as much, so they would reduce in volume. So maybe I got that backwards when I said that. But the external pressure
that's fine,
pushing
that's
out,
fine.
the
That's fine,
the
that's
pressure
fine.
pushing out would be less as you drop the temperature. That
Yeah, that's
I was
fine,
just getting it right. I was explaining
That's a
the
common
molecules
expression,
getting
that's
closer
fine.
together.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's the rule. The lower the temperature, the lower the pressure. You increase the temperature.
But we don't see that. We don't see that going into much different pressures. If we trying to think of if a way we could set up an experiment where we could isolate all the gas inside of a container and drop the temperature and see what the relationship between the temperature dropping and the pressure dropping is.
That's why I
Yeah,
like
when
my
you
video
drop-
because 75 degrees downstairs.
Let me
As
go
I
back
went
to it.
upstairs to a 9-degree higher temperature, the pressure went down.
Okay,
No,
let
if
me
you
get
have a
back
balloon
to
and you, let's say you blow a balloon up and you drop the temperature, the balloon, the particles will freeze. So the air will freeze. So
yeah,
that
the
means
balloon will
if
shrink.
The balloon will shrink and the particles will become a solid. Yes? So
Not a
that
solid, no.
means-
No, not a solid, not a solid. Or unless you're talking about reducing them down to where they're freezing. At first, they just stop moving. That's what it's all about. It's all about movement, the energy that the particles have. Okay, so if the particles don't have enough energy to keep them from bonding, they'll bond together. And if they do, that's what you're talking about is changing from one state to the next. But that's something that's totally different. We can just generalize temperature and the molecular motion and all that. We can generalize all that without talking about changing from one state of gas to a solid.
Oh, okay, Spurs. Can you explain to me why when say I let a helium balloon go, why does it expand as it goes up?
It expands.
Yes, good question.
Yeah,
Good question.
So you can take a weather balloon. You can buy them off of eBay for like 300 quid, and send it up. And when it gets to a certain point, the balloon will explode because it's expanded so much. Why does that happen?
It happens because it's temperature based. So you've got a warmer temperature.
You're contradicting yourself.
No,
You're contradicting yourself.
No.
Go ahead.
You've admitted that it's colder as you go up. So why does the balloon expand?
You haven't let me finish, have you? So you fill a balloon up on the ground, right? So outside of the balloon is colder, and inside the balloon you have a hotter temperature. And we know heat rises, so that heat will rise, that warm helium, will rise, gets into a colder.
Why does it rise?
And sorry?
Don't run into don't
One
divert.
step at a time, team.
Don't
One
divert.
step at
Okay,
a time.
okay.
One step at a
I'm
time.
sorry.
Yeah, so you've got the helium balloon, it rises, And as the temperature drops on the outside, the balloon, the exterior, starts to freeze, becomes brittle, weak, and in turn you have a real pressure on the inside trying to escape, and therefore the balloon breaks. Very simple. That's the only reason why the balloon breaks, is because the outside of it becomes very weak, because obviously it's cold. It can't maintain the heat.
It wasn't so much about the balloon bursting as why does the balloon expand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it will
There's a
expand
real
until it gets
pressure.
to the point that are you telling me that the pressure inside the balloon is increasing?
No,
Because
it's
overall, the energy in the system of the balloon is going to decrease because the temperature is going to be lowering the higher it goes. So even the gases inside that balloon are still going to be getting colder and having less kinetic energy in them. Yet the balloon will still expand. So
no, but it's not.
that literally
Remember,
contradicts what you're saying.
Yes.
not at all,
the
because
contrary.
they're in a smaller space. They're in a more compact space, so they'll be able to maintain. If you have it's like if you have a lot of bodies close together, you'll maintain that temperature for a certain while, right? It's like when people huddle together, the people at the center stay the warmest, and they will continue to expand until the temperature, the relative temperature,
What?
equilibrium.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. People who live in the Arctic regions that huddle up for warmth, prepare for a lot of weight gain because you're going to expand.
Oh my
No,
God,
but
that's
remember, they would
awesome.
increase.
Okay.
If their temperature increases, they will, of course, temperature
So
will cause
Spurs,
them to expand.
Spurs. Let me explain what's wrong with what you just said. Okay. We were just talking about how the gas gets closer together when it gets cold. It doesn't get further apart. It gets closer together. You know, we were just talking about this pressure. The outward pushing pressure decreases with temperature. Okay. So when you let a balloon go up in the air, if it's all about just temperature, that's all we're talking about, temperature here, okay? If it's all about just temperature, as the interior of the balloon drops in heat, as it radiates its heat away, it's losing the outward pressure, and it should shrink, but we don't see that. What we see is the balloon expanding and then popping. Exactly opposite to what you just said should happen.
No,
Now,
because what I was talking about was I was thinking of a video that I've seen. If you want to get it up, it's called "What Happens When You Freeze a Balloon," and that's a rapid change in of states. Now, balloon going up is a gradual change, so the temperature inside can keep relatively warm until it reaches extreme cold, and then obviously it would freeze. Because obviously, when that balloon
But
bursts,
that doesn't.
right? Yes, it does. Because when that balloon
That
bursts, the helium will hold on. The helium will continue to rise, right? So it will rise.
Yeah, but it doesn't explain why the balloon itself expands in size. Because as Team has pointed out, there's less kinetic energy in the molecules. They're closer together. So,
Yeah, but it's not
and
enough.
as
Not
you've
enough.
just pointed out, wait, Spurs, stay with me. And as you've just pointed out in the video where they rapidly freeze a balloon, the balloon shrinks and stuff, right? But the opposite is happening here. The exact opposite. It is going up,
Yes.
and based on your theory of what pressure is, just temperature, it's getting colder, which would mean there would be less of the pressure. Yet the balloon still expands exponentially until it can
Yes.
no longer, and then bursts. So that is literally
Yes, but
going
before
the
start-
opposite of what you're saying happens.
No. For a start, helium is very difficult to freeze. Anyway, even if
we're not. Hold on. Yeah. Don't. We're not talking about that. Spurs. That's a whole different topic. A whole different subject.
No, it's
We just
not.
need a
It's
simple
relevant.
explanation.
No,
Okay,
no,
but
look, if you
helium
understood-
is not the
hold on,
only
hold on,
gas
hold on,
that's
hold on.
lighter
If you
than air,
understood the
though.
gases- Well, look, if you understood that helium is difficult to freeze, which is why it's very good gas for taking things up, it's not going to become as solid as you're describing. Air, what I was talking about, if you put
doesn't
air
have
in a
to
We,
become
balloon,
a
we didn't
solid.
say it would become a solid.
I never said
All right,
that.
Yeah,
we
not
don't have to talk
helium.
about helium, right? Let's talk about a packet of crisps, right? A simple Walker's packet
Yes.
of crisps.
Yeah.
And pretty much anybody who has been in the military can attest to this, especially in the British military going up at the hills in Wales, okay? You can go to this little village shop at the bottom and you buy some crisps and you put them in your pack and it's all easy to move around. By the time you get to the top of those mountains, that packet
Yeah.
of crisps is inflated like a pumped-up balloon. Why is that
That's
happened?
right, because it's looking to equalize in temperature. It's looking to there's
That's
a
not how
warmer
thermodynamics
temperature
works.
inside
That's
that
not how
packet.
thermodynamics works, bro. Okay, Spurs. If you
But
have
that's what's
a
happening.
hold on. Let me explain something before you go further with your explanation, so you don't make any further mistakes. Okay. Let's say you have a bag of chips, and the whole bag on the outside of the chips is 75 degrees, or we'll say 85 degrees, and you put it in a room where the average temperature of the room is 50 degrees. The bag will radiate heat into the room, raising the temperature of the room and dropping the temperature of the bag. This will continue until all the contents in the bag are of the equal temperature as the room. The room will rise a little bit, the contents of the bags will drop significantly. When it equals out, there is no more changing of heat or exchanging of temperature. So that's all you need to worry about that. So don't worry about temperature. Go back to explaining what's happening when you go up and you take a bag of chips. Even if it's a bag of chips that you have already equalized in temperature, you take it up inside of your car where the temperature doesn't change and the bag still inflates. Why?
Well, if you can show that.
And as Blargo in the chat has just pointed out, that if
wants you to show that.
once I take that bag up, take that bag up and it's
show that.
inflated, even
There's a video
after
by-
it equalizes,
Hold on.
it's still
Hold
going
on.
to stay the same.
Greg,
Hold on, Craig. Hold on.
If you can show a controlled demonstration, then
Everybody, hold on,
temperature.
hold on, Spurs. Sean, will you please send me the link to that video in in Google, and I'll
look at it up.
yeah. Go ahead, fight the flat Earth. You were gonna say something, and then Spurs, I'll kick it over to you, and then Sean, I'll play your video, Sean.
He's saying about it like trying to equalize the temperature and stuff. Yet, no matter how long I stay at the top of that mountain, the crisp bag is still going to stay inflated, even once the temperature is equalized between the inside and the outside. It doesn't deflate; it stays inflated, even once the temperatures have equalized.
Yeah, you've got a sealed bag in the beginning, so you've got a temperature in there that you would have to verify what it is. And as you take it up, you're taking it into an environment where the temperature is obviously different.
Okay.
Once the temperatures are equalized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But once the temperature has equalized, why does the crisp bag stay inflated?
For how long?
Forever. It
How
wouldn't
forever?
deflate.
Well, then it would freeze then, wouldn't
Trust
it?
me, I've sat at the top of a mountain in
Spurs.
Wales.
No,
with
no, no, hold
you
on,
know,
hold on. Okay,
for hours and
the
hours.
Okay, back to the example. Back to the example, Spurs. Okay, the temperature of the chips, okay, would not continue to drop, because if it started to drop, then the temperature of the surrounding air would pick the temperature of the chips back up. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. There's a point, once it gets to a state of equilibrium, there is no more changing of temperature. It's just all equal. All right, hold on. We got a video to play from Sean Huffer real quick. Give me 1 second.
And you're gonna have to search through it because it's a 38-minute long video, and he actually does this drive throughout like most of the video.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen this video before. Give me 1 second so I can make it. Okay, so here we go. So this is a Sly Sparkane. Okay, and he's driving up. It's a balloon on the inside of his car, right? Okay, here it is, right here. All right, Spurs. The temperature on the inside of the car is not going to change throughout this video. And if it does change, it's not changing dramatically enough to increase a balloon. But
what is the temperature there?
okay, hold on. He's
That's
just
what
driving.
it's like.
No, he's just driving up a thing. He's just driving up a hill, and
Yeah, but we expect this to happen because of the temperature change.
no, you don't. No, it just.
But
It's an air-controlled car.
Ah! He's inside a car, Spurs.
He's got air conditioning.
Jesus
It's keeping
Christ.
the temperature relatively stable inside the car.
The number, okay, another thing you
Right.
need to understand, Spurs, is that the number of air molecules inside of that bottle with the balloon on top never changes, okay? Nothing changes except the amount of pressure that's pushing in on the bottle and the balloon. That's the only thing that changes. Temperature doesn't change, number of molecules doesn't change, nothing changes but the volume. Here we go.
Where's the temperature that he's showing is the same? He's not
Okay.
showing that, is he? Because he knows.
He's inside of his
He's
car,
in
Spurs.
an air-conditioned car,
Spurs,
and he's
you've
not
driven in a car,
changing the
man.
temperature
Come
as he
on.
goes.
You've driven in a car, Spurs. Come on, you know how it works. I shouldn't have to explain to you how a car works.
You can watch this whole video all the way through, and you can, wait, Spurs, wait. You can watch the whole video through, and you can see he doesn't adjust the AC. All right, so that would indicate that the temperature is staying the same.
See that, Spurs? That balloon is smiling at you, man. It's trying to give you evidence.
No, we expect this to happen through to temperature changes. Now here we need to show.
But we've just told you the temperature didn't change.
God, Spurs, come on, man. You've been inside a car before. You know that when you drive up a hill, the temperature inside the car doesn't drop. You know this, man. Come on, don't be dishonest, please. We're having a good conversation. That's a bit dishonest.
No, because I'm asking you.
You do know you're talking to Spurs, right?
Okay. So
I mean, right? Okay. So wait. One sec. Right, Spurs. So, regardless of what the temperature actually is, the point is that the temperature doesn't change. It doesn't alter. He does not adjust the AC. So it could. Wait. It could be -5. It could be +15. That is irrelevant. The fact is that it doesn't change because he does not adjust the AC. Therefore, the temperature is not a variable.
We don't know that, Fight the Flat Earth, do we? We didn't see the temperature.
We do. He doesn't adjust the AC.
Spurs.
For goodness
Spurs.
sakes. You've got his body temperature. You've got the temperature of the car. So many variables to keep a constant. How is he doing that?
Well, unless the car is greater
That's
than
what air conditioning does.
98 degrees, his body temperature is going to do the opposite effect. It's going to create more of an external pressure that pushes the air, holds the air inside the bottle. See,
I think Spurs is just creating a whole new conspiracy theory. Air conditioning is a hoax.
Spurs, check it out, man. The temperature in the car isn't changing so dramatically. This would happen. You could go test this yourself. How about that? Go test it yourself, Spurs.
Hold on.
Drive up a tall hill and make sure that your car doesn't change in temperature and show us an experiment where this doesn't happen.
You're saying that he lowered the pressure in the car to begin with. You turn the air conditioner on, making it colder. Yeah?
No.
So he started with a low pressure in the car.
He started with a pressure.
Not being validated, right? What was the pressure? He's in a container, inside a container, a bottle of a container in a container.
Yes.
Right?
Except
he's in a container with a controlled air conditioning unit.
Yeah, but you have a container, the bottle, which is inside a container, the car, which he lowered.
The car is not a container.
Pressure.
Air leaks in and out as it sees fit.
Yeah, but he shut the doors, shut the windows. He's lowered the pressure by turning the air conditioning on. So if you lower the pressure anyway, of course these things will happen with the bottle again.
Spurs,
I think that increases pressure.
Can't keep water out of it when you go underwater.
No, when you lower the temperature,
No. Well, yeah, but you're also increasing the number of air molecules on the inside of the car. Don't forget that. You can't use the ideal gas law when you're changing too many variables. You're not just changing temperature in that situation. You're also changing the number of molecules that are inside of the confined space.
The pressure. Yes, but you cannot increase the pressure without increasing the force. See?
But see, here's the thing.
What does that even mean?
The air pressure in the car is pulled out because the air pressure is lower. So the air pressure inside the car is lower, which is why the balloon expands. Because it's the same pressure.
Say Spurs.
Right, so it would expand anyway then, wouldn't it? It wouldn't need to go higher. It would expand if he just lowers the pressure inside the car. That's
Spurs.
How's he going to lower the pressure?
If you have an air compressor that blows cold air into a balloon, will the balloon continue to expand or will it just not expand?
You have an air compressor. Say it again.
Let's say you have an air compressor that's blowing cold air into a balloon. Will the balloon expand or will the balloon just not expand because it's cold air?
It would expand because you have pressure inside a container.
Okay, thank you. So, so what you're telling me is now we have a situation where pressure increases even though temperature is below the outside atmosphere, correct?
No,
okay, same thing fucking happens in a car, Spurs. When you turn on the air conditioning, it blows air into the car. Okay?
Yeah.
It might reduce the temperature, but it's increased the molecules, the number of molecules coming in. And that does increase the fucking pressure.
How can it? When it's lowering the temperature.
The same way that I just explained to you with a balloon. If you put cold air into the balloon will still fucking expand, even though the temperature of the balloon goes down. Yes. You're saying it won't work one way and saying it will work the other way. Pick one way or the other, Spurs. Quit flip-flopping.
You blow cold air into a balloon, but the pressure comes from the walls of the balloon, which will be at a higher temperature.
To answer Andrew's poll in the chat, yes, this is Spurs' MO. To act as stupid as possible, just to troll.
Okay, so we're going to move on because you don't get it, and it's not our fault.
All right, let's move on to observations of rotation. Okay, Spurs, does the Earth rotate?
Of course not. There is no measurable rotation. And
then please explain to me why a pendulum precesses. Now this is we're not talking about that one. Here we go. So this guy made a pendulum in a block of flats it's made out of plastic and plastic wire, and over a period of, I think it was about 3/4 of an hour, he let it swing. All right, just on its own, not powered by anything. And during the time that it swung, it also precessed, so that by the end, they had an angle that they could see. All right, using that angle, they were able to calculate their latitude and distance to the North Pole. I mean, what he did isn't really the point. My question is, on a flat Earth, what is the explanation for why this pendulum drifted?
I haven't seen that. I don't think there is an explanation so far. But what we have, I mean, there's an experiment known as Airy's failure, and he proved that.
We're not talking. Right? No, don't change the subject. We are talking about pendulums. We're not talking about Airy's failure. It's a completely different thing, right? This is a observable phenomenon that anybody can show themselves, and based on where you do it on the Earth, you can literally calculate what your latitude is and your distance from the North or South Pole, depending on which hemisphere you do it in, and the maths will always work out. Now, the reason that we have that happens is because the Earth is rotating, and the pendulum maintains its rigidity in 3D space, so the Earth literally rotates underneath it. If you're at the North or South Pole, you wouldn't. You would get a 15 degree per hour drift. If you're at the equator, you wouldn't get a drift. Now, I would really like to know how this is explained on a flat Earth, because as far as I'm concerned, this experiment completely destroys the notion of the Earth not rotating.
No, because it's very difficult to look at these experiments and take them seriously, because we don't see natural pendulums in nature, do we? Where do we see swinging objects processing like this? Where have you seen this before?
Here, right in front of you.
Since you're wanting to go down the Nathan road, can you also explain how Quantum Eraser says that the Quantum Eraser experiment is an actual experiment? Because when have you ever observed a single photon?
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd have to ask him that.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're going to use the Quantum Eraser excuse, apply it both ways.
Oh, we do.
Because Quantum Eraser says the Quantum Eraser experiment is a legitimate experiment, but he's never observed a single photon.
Yeah, so you should call people out if they have pseudoscience, is what we're doing right now. So
what I'm telling you, Spurs, is don't make arguments based on somebody else's claim when their own argument doesn't apply to themselves.
No, I don't speak for other people. I'm saying we don't see this in nature. So where do you think this procession means anything when it doesn't happen in nature?
Spurs. What are you talking about? Hold on. What would you constitute seeing this in nature? Explain to me what would constitute you seeing this in nature.
Yeah. Let's say, for example, you saw a spider's web or a silkworm, a dead silkworm just hanging off a tree, and then it started to process.
Okay.
Right, in nature.
So right here, you see this? There you go. That's happening in nature right there.
No, this is man-made.
There's nothing. No, that is a ball of mass, like analogous to a tree spider hanging down from its web, swinging back and forth. Now, of course, in the tree spider example, you're going to have to take in the air pressure and the wind and all that because it's a little fucking spider. But there it is in nature, right there for you, Spurs. There is no that. This is not an unnatural thing. We did not. There's nothing unnaturally done here. Look at this.
Look at this.
Look.
Look at
He just gets it swinging. Now it's all natural. But
Come
now
on.
it's all natural, Spurs. Now it's all natural. Now
No,
it is
Skeptic,
only the
look at that. He
forces
burned-
acting upon it. And
That's what I mean.
And?
We have to put up with that stuff. You think there's someone burning webs in nature causing things to swing like this? Come on. Nobody
no.
does that. Yeah.
No, but we don't have to. We don't have to mimic or see the exact process that happened. We are now setting something in free swinging motion and watching how it moves. And now we have to come up with an explanation as to why it's making this move. Now we say
know why.
that it's the Earth spinning underneath, and this is a result of the Coriolis force. Okay, this is the result of a fictitious force in our reference frame because we are in the same reference frame as the paper. Do you see it? So we're turning with the paper, but you know what's not turning? That angle that ball's swinging in. It swings in the same angle every time. But to us, it looks like it's turning.
Can I respond?
Go ahead. Yes.
Can I respond? So, if the Earth were truly spinning, then when a volcano erupts, for example, and fires its lava high into the sky, right? When the Earth turns underneath it, that lava would land miles away from the actual spot.
Do you understand conservation of momentum?
No.
Or you could use another example.
Hold
You
on,
could take a
hold
cannonball.
on. Spurs. No. Spurs. Answer my question. Yeah, but let's address. Hold on. You'll get. Let me address the lava part, and then I'll allow you to go to the cannonball. Okay? Do you understand conservation of momentum?
What is it? Explain it to me.
Okay. Conservation of momentum is when you're traveling. Let's say you are going in a velocity and you're in a reference frame, and your reference frame, everything in it is moving in a velocity v in one direction. Okay, here, let me put me on camera so that way you can see what I'm doing with my hands. Okay, so we have this frame of reference, and it's going in that direction, and it's traveling at a velocity, okay? Conservation of momentum says that when we're in our reference frame, we drop that ball. Let's say we're holding a ball in the reference frame, and we drop it, and we see the ball drop straight down. It appears to us as if the ball, only force it had on it was straight to the ground because we're all moving together. Now, if we were standing outside of that reference frame and we're watching the reference frame go by and the guy drops the ball makes like an arc like this, okay, to that guy. That's because it's conserving the momentum. When he drops the ball to the outside observer, he doesn't see it go straight down because to him it's moving this way too. So when he drops the ball, it conserves the momentum and then it begins to fall. But to me, in my reference frame, I see it drops straight down. This is conservation of momentum.
Yeah, okay. But what does that have to do with where it should land? Where it should land. Now, let me try to finish.
Because you have to conserve that momentum.
No, there are many examples. It's not about that conserving the momentum here. It's about where. If
right, Spurs. Can I try and explain some to you first? So
3 against.
Well,
one,
it's still on the same point. I just want to make sure the conservation of momentum thing is covered. So imagine a train moving forward, okay, and you've got a miniature volcano on the top of that train.
But go on. Yeah, I get it though.
Right?
He's saying
So
it would be a curved path. Yeah.
Yeah, if you are watching that train go past and the volcano on top of that train erupts, to you it's going to look like all those bits that are coming out of the volcano are moving along with the train. But from the reference point of view being on the train, it's just going to be exploding up and around you. It's the same on Earth because the volcano is spinning with the Earth. When the volcano erupts, all those pieces maintain that momentum of the rotation of the Earth.
Yeah, but
okay.
Yes, but there are instances where if you were to fire like a cannonball, like I say, a ballistic in this instance.
Yes.
If you fire it vertically and other projectiles, they should fall significantly due west. In actual fact, however, when this has been tested, vertically fired cannonballs shot upwards, an average of 14 seconds descending, and fall back to the ground no more than 2 feet away from the cannon. So this proves that the Earth is not turning. And also, when
And you
that,
just
Okay,
figure out about
wait, before you move on, can I counter that? So in the Second World War, the British were shooting. They were north of the equator, and they were shooting towards the equator, right? Now, sorry, one of the two, right? So basically, their calculations were to adjust for the rotation of the Earth. But what they found was when they started doing the adjustments that they were supposed to, they found that the deviation was actually the opposite direction and twice the amount. The reason for that was that the designers of the artillery that they were using didn't give the calculations for being on the other side of the equator. So when they then reversed the calculations needed, they managed to get it on track. And the fact that they had that deviation shows that there was a rotation to the Earth.
no, that's an old story. We don't
And
believe
the fact,
that. What we have, no, we don't believe that. What we have
oh,
is
right, okay.
Felix. No, because,
Oh, okay.
no, but what we
I mean,
can
it's well
believe-
documented, but
No, not documented. We have Felix Baumgartner, right? So if the Earth
Okay, so
were
you're
truly
again. Okay,
sorry,
well,
World War One.
Yeah, so if the Earth were truly constantly spinning eastwards at over 1,000 miles per hour during the
equator.
Red Bull stratosphere dive, then
Which wasn't done at the
Felix
equator.
Then Felix spending 3 hours ascending over New Mexico should have landed 2,500 miles west into the Pacific Ocean, but instead landed a few dozen miles east off the takeoff point. How is that possible?
Have you ever seen the wingsuits that they made?
It
He
had nothing
just
to do with
wingsuited. He wingsuited all the way from the Pacific Ocean back to New Mexico. Everybody
Oh, I
knows
see.
this. Everybody knows
So you're
this, guys.
Straight down.
No, Spurs, that's not what happened.
So-
man. That's not what happened.
So,
Go ahead.
Spurs, have you ever heard of the HARP project? The HARP gun?
Harp, yes, weather control, they modify
Yes.
weather. They're trying
No,
to
no, no, no,
cause
no, no,
storms,
no,
they
no, no,
cause storms in
no,
America.
no. Stop. No, it's not that at all. So the HARP project was it was designed to test ballistic re-entries, right? It's a gun firing straight up. Let me get a picture up so I can show you a reference of what I mean.
Can I
Thank you
actually
guys
just-
for reminding me of
Dodged
this.
this entire time very successfully.
Yeah.
Can I please put us back on a track that has been dodged since the very beginning? Have you explained the second tides yet?
Oh no, we moved on from that. So you didn't get it.
We moved on because you're presupposing that's on a ball, right?
No,
No,
there was no
no.
presupposition there at all.
No. We're asking why it happens on the flat Earth.
Yes,
Right.
that-
So
exactly,
this is
exactly.
This is yeah. So what I'm showing you here is a 16-inch HARP gun. Okay, and it was a project started in 1961, and it was to test ballistic re-entry and stuff. Okay. Now, the first test projectile, 16-inch, 406mm gunbore projectile, weighed 450 pounds, 6.6 inches in diameter, and they were fired, and it came down with, I'm trying to find the actual...
Exactly the same spot.
No, it wasn't. It was about 28 feet, I think, difference.
Yeah, look at the angle. There's an angle there. That's not straight up, is it? Slight angle there, no?
I think it actually is. So...
You think that's straight up in the air? That's not straight, is it?
It's just one picture showing you what it was about. So
that's not
I'm very bad at
straight.
explaining
That was
what the HARP project actually is, but it basically showed that there was a deviation and a difference because of the rotation of the Earth. The whole HARP project was literally designed with the goal of studying ballistics of re-entry. Most projects use expensive and failure-prone rockets, but HARP used a non-rocket space launch method based on a very large gun to fire the models to high altitudes and speeds. And it literally proved that there was a rotation to the Earth.
Okay, so
So
look,
No, that's not-
this
that's
is
not straight, that's
it's
not.
a larger
If that was
version
straight-
of your cannonball thing.
Yes, but it's not straight. You can see that's going straight into the sea. Easily. If that was straight,
God.
it would go straight up and back down into that land area. And that's why obviously they have to angle it, obviously.
Okay, so
Team.
yeah, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go back through real quick. We're gonna just give you one chance to answer all of the arguments that you dodged, because there were a lot of them. We moved on rather quickly from some, so we're gonna start with the two tides on the flat Earth. Okay, we're going to start there, Spurs. We're going to make these real random, just real quick answers, give it to us, and then we'll move on to the next one, because I got one thing I want to address, or I want to talk about before we get off, and it's not really, you can stick around for it, but it's not really a debate thing. It's just, I want to read some comments on a post on Facebook. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the two tides on flat Earth, okay? We're going to say, why are there two tides on flat Earth?
I can put it down to just the moon's negative force creating a strong force, which creates these two tides. But again, I think we're presupposing these two tides because of the ball.
No, the two tides exist. The two tides exist.
Yeah.
That's
Any
fine to
shoreline
presuppose.
in the world will
It's
show you
okay
there's
to
two tides.
presuppose the truth. Okay, it's okay to presuppose facts. The two tides exist.
Everybody knows that there's two tides, two high tides and two low
Well,
tides every single day.
Almost everybody. We're close.
Yeah,
We're working
true.
on it. We're working on converting somebody.
But this is a verified fact. This isn't a theory or a suggestion. It is a fact, Spurs. There is two high tides and two low tides every day. Sorry, and at
just
certain
to point out
points in the year.
Just to point out, the two high tides are roughly 12 hours apart from each other.
Yeah, which
It's like 12
correlates
hours
to
and
the
35
rotation
minutes
of
or
the
something
Earth. And not only is there two high tides and two low tides every day, but at certain points in the year, based on the position of the Earth, Sun, and Moon, there is even bigger or slightly smaller tides. So how is that explained if the precession of the Moon and the Sun around the top of the flat Earth never change?
Like I said, it's pretty much the same reason that you guys give, which is the moon, but for different reasons.
What
But
reasons?
that would explain one. How does it explain the high tide, the other high tide on Earth?
Yeah.
Even if I
So,
give you, and I'm giving you that explanation, Spurs. I'm gonna let you say that the moon has some weird interaction with the water that causes the tides. That's one of them.
A tide.
A tide. That's one of them. Now, what about the other one?
I mean, again, you have the North Pole, which pulls, which is also a low pressure zone, low temperature, and this would create your negative pressure.
Wait,
So
what?
a lot of the
Sorry,
the
say that
wall-
again.
Yes, because the North Pole and the wall would create a pull because of the low temperatures there. Just like the moon. The moon.
But that's not going to explain a high tide 12 hours behind the previous high tide.
Right,
Oh,
Spurs.
shit.
Let me So let's say
Spurs,
the
you're
moon
amazing,
is here. Right, you see my screen. You see the cursor, right? Let's say the moon is over here, okay, by Australia, and you've got a high tide here. How do you explain the high tide that's over here? Because that's what happens in reality. There will be a high tide here and a high tide there. There'll be a low tide here and a low tide here. There's no land, but So how do you explain the fact the moon's here? There's a high tide here. Cool. All right, we can accept that. But why is there also a high tide over here?
How are you verifying there's a high tide there?
There is. I've checked.
Do you want to
That's
put
a
random
fact. That's
tide
what
charts all
happens.
over the world?
I went to Argentina, and I simultaneously on the same day I flew to Australia and took measurements 5 minutes apart from each other, and there was a high tide on both sides and a low tide. It's confirmed. I've checked.
Tony corrected me. It's 12 hours, 52.2 minutes exactly.
No, but Spurs.
No.
But Spurs,
The
honestly,
model will tell you that.
no, but people would say, but okay, yeah, okay. Think of it like this, Spurs. Let's say that the high tide was predicted by our model to be in Brazil, okay, at that top corner of Brazil. We're gonna say at noon, okay, and then at noon it doesn't
So
show
about
up. we'll say there. That's where the tide's supposed to be at noon, the high tide. And in the noon, it's not there. Wouldn't people say something?
People would
be like,
notice.
yo, this is wrong. The high tide charts around the world, they're all fucking
Here you
way
go.
off. And they're off
Here's the
more
links
each
for you,
day.
Skeptic. Tide chart for
Okay.
Brazil.
Oh, tide chart for Brazil. See, I can't even bullshit my way
So,
through something.
Spurs, these are verified facts that you have high tides on both sides. If there's a high tide here, there will also be a high tide there. It's just a fact, and you can check this by looking at tide charts in your own time. But you kind of have to just trust us here
Show me.
because
Show
it's.
us, show us how they verify these high tides.
Because
Yeah,
they
right there.
use these tides for shipping.
Yeah.
shipping, fishing,
you-
industry. I mean, everything. I mean, their whole like
Yes,
when you live on
You're
the
literally
coast.
just
you-
denying reality at this point.
Yeah, when you live on the coast, one of the things you do understand are the tides. You know because they're part of your daily routine every single day. Fishermen know this. Shipping
We can
people know
pull up
this.
time lapses
Military know
webcams
this.
from tidal cities and watch and show Spurs that
Yeah.
I go in and out every 12 hours, or every 6 hours actually.
At this point, Spurs, you're just denying
So-
reality.
Right, regardless of whether you believe it is or not, all right, can you give us an explanation as to why there would be a high tide both here and here? Is there an
I
explanation
mean-
on the flat Earth?
The more I question you on verifying it, I'm starting to doubt there is two high tides. How
Okay.
do you verify
Okay,
that?
okay,
Seriously,
hold on,
just
hold
check
on.
tight.
Next,
Oh my God.
Guess what? We're going to move on to the next question. We asked him about
My
the
brain
two
just
tides
broke.
on Earth. We asked him about the two tides on Earth, and the answer was we need to verify that there are two tides on
You're
Earth.
lying.
So,
This is
that's-
why
that's
this
fine.
is why Spurs is a known troll in Poe. And
All
I
right.
warned you before we even started, Skeptic, that
Yes,
he is
you
a
did.
Poe.
I had
You
faith
will
in
not
you.
listen to
Hey,
me about that. I don't
Spurs,
understand.
I had faith in you. I had faith in Spurs. I had faith in you, Spurs. I even admitted to my mistake of telling you it was tomorrow night instead of tonight. That was my bad. But anyway, we're gonna go on. We're
Oh,
moving on
Spurs,
to the next one.
it was nice seeing your face on the Globe Live tour, by the way.
Okay.
And in your educational videos where you're talking, to Russian people.
But what you're trying to do is give me a presupposed question and answer something that you have not.
We're not. We're giving you verified facts and asking you to explain how it happens on a flat
Okay,
Earth.
hold on. Look.
It's like we're
Look.
saying to you, why is the color blue, and you're going, prove to me it's blue.
Yeah, Spurs. Look, this
Like
is
the actual fuck.
This is something Sean just shared with me. Okay, this is the title charts for Camamu, Brazil. Okay, there are tides there. One big one, one small one. One big one, one small one. One big one, one small one. Okay, it's a cyclical thing. So tides exist and they happen at 12-hour intervals. If people there would be like, "There's no tides in Camamu."
What's
They
going
would look
on?
at you as you were a nut.
Yeah, if you went
Ask-
up there and said, "Hi,
ask
I'm here to
anybody
study
who
the
lives on a coastal
tides."
city. Ask anybody who lives on a coastal city, Spur. You know a few. Ask Jaron. He lives on a coastal city. Ask him if there's two tides a day. See if he lies to you or not.
Hey, Spurs, I just
mean,
want to
you
ask
could
you
come up
one
with-
simple
you could
question.
come up with,
Is there any chance...
Hold on. I mean,
Wait,
sorry,
one-
I mean,
one-
one way to answer this would be, I mean, you could come up with all kinds of ideas. So, the Earth is flat, and you have the wall, and the ice around that wall every day is melting because of the sun. So as the sun goes around the plane, so it could be nothing to do with you. So as the ice
Are you
melts,
saying that the ice wall freezes and melts twice a day every day?
I'm
Portions
saying
of
there
it.
will be parts of the wall that break off. Huge
Holy
parts
fuck.
every day.
But we don't see this
Yeah,
in reality. Okay, hold on. Next quote. We already got past the tides part. You're just ad
Can I-
hocing
you
it.
presuppose your
I-
model, then why can't I presuppose what the cause
You're
of
not
we're not
presupposing
presupposing
anything.
anything.
Well, you're
we-
not
we are giving you
presupposing it. You're
verified
ad
facts.
hocking. You're
As
ad
I
hocking. You're
said,
just trying
as I
to.
said,
In order to have an
Oh.
increase of
Yeah.
anything, you would need more
Okay, so-
water. Where does that water come from? It comes from the
Hey,
wall.
Spurs,
Sure.
is there any chance that you're wrong about this? In your mind,
Oh,
is there
heaven
any
forbid,
chance
no.
that you could be wrong?
Yes. If you guys could show scientifically that we live on a spinning ball and flying through space and it's curving, then of course, absolutely. But until then,
I mean, it's been
I
done
don't need
loads
to
of
do
times.
it.
You just deny
Kepler
it.
did it. Kepler did it with Newton following right behind him.
that's not science,
Yeah.
team. That's
Why is that not science?
Oh,
Why is that not
Of
science?
course not.
Why is that not? Is it
Science.
only science when is it only science when it when
Wait,
you can say that it's
I'm just
against
playing
the
that
globe?
conversation
It's
back in my
science?
head. I'm just playing that conversation back in my head. Spurs, did you say the tides are caused by there being more water?
Yes.
So if you're
Oh,
saying,
I thought it.
Well,
I
like I
thought
said,
it would fill. I thought it would fill out its container and it would just spread across the whole flat Earth.
Campbell in the chat, I have no idea.
Okay.
I think it's all about entertainment value at this point because Spurs is
Yeah.
useless as a human.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next one. We said that you said that the air pressure was completely temperature. There's no such thing. We showed you many examples of this, including a picture or a video of Slice Barkane driving up a hill, decreasing the atmospheric pressure around the balloon in the container and expanding the molecules on the inside because there's a higher pressure and it just opened up as it went into the balloon. And you said it was temperature, which we said no, he's in a car, it's not a change in temperature. We've given you plenty of examples. Is there anything you would like to say, maybe not say, to change what you said earlier or didn't say earlier?
No, because again, we can all see that temperature plays a role in all of these experiments, and unless you can control the temperature or show that it's not a cause, well then pressure is just again the assumption that.
Okay, so I have a challenge. I have a challenge and a request for somebody who's out in the live chat. Somebody will live near a mountain, okay, and somebody will have a bag of chips. And here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to put your bag of chips in the freezer overnight, okay? The next morning, I want you to get up, take the bag, get in your car, and drive up a hill. Okay, or drive up the mountain and watch, just see if the bag expands even though the temperature doesn't rapidly increase. Like put a cooler in your car or something to keep the temperature down. But let's come back with a video that shows him that regardless of temperature, the air pressure it's not based on the temperature at that point. It's actually based on the amount of molecules that are outside of the bag. The difference in the number and the density of the molecules on the inside causing a pressure pushing out, along with all the molecules on the density of the molecules on the outside pressing in. There's lower pressure pushing in than there is pushing out. Guess what happens? It fucking expands. That's basic.
Yeah, so that's a good idea. So if you can put your packet in a box where there's ice, it's cold, freezing cold in your container, and you'll say, look, the temperature's the same. We can keep this temperature constant. Now watch, the pressure will be the only variable. Well then, yeah, you have a
No, Spurs. What you're not getting is in that.
How about this? I'll put my iPad in the refrigerator. I'll put it in the freezer because that will actually destroy it. I'll put it in the refrigerator overnight and do the same experiment again. We'll see what happens.
Spurs, listen to what I'm saying. If you take a bag of chips and you put it in the freezer, and you go into your car, the bag of chips will be colder than the air in your car. Okay? The bag of chips should never fucking expand. It shouldn't expand. In fact, here's what really should happen, Spurs, by your definition. You should be taking the bag of chips into the car, and the air should be crushing the bag of chips because of the temperature difference.
No.
But that doesn't happen either, does it?
As soon as you take the crisp out of the freezer, it will start to melt, won't it? It will start to expand immediately. So that's why you have to
It's
take
not
it out
going
of the
to
freezer.
radiate temperature away fucking at lightning fast speeds. You just said that it was a difference in temperature. Hold on. You said it was a difference in temperature before, as if the temperature held all the way through, and it was the temperature that caused the expansion. Now you're saying, well, the temperature is not going to hold that fast. You can't have it both ways, Spurs. You have to be consistent in your beliefs, man.
You're jumping the gun. Look, keep the
Spurs,
packet.
you owe me some brain cells.
Well, look, it's very simple. Science. That's probably why, because you don't understand what science is. We have to look for the variables to make sure.
Wait. So, stop. So Newton and Kepler and everything isn't science, but Anthony Riley holding an egg and going, "This is an egg." That's fucking science.
Well, what Anthony did, he used natural things from the natural world: an egg, water, salt.
Hold on. No. Time out. Time
Oh,
out. There's
when
nothing
do you have an
natural.
egg, water-
Hold on. Yeah, there's nothing natural about a human holding an egg and putting
this
it in water.
natural?
Where does this happen in the natural world? Where do you find humans dropping
Where do you
eggs
get a
into
cup
water?
naturally form?
Where?
When
Yeah,
do you have
exactly.
a cup naturally form?
And how about the salt? Salt. Where do you find salt naturally
Great question.
formed in a packaged container to
Alright,
be
well,
able to
let
be
me
poured
answer-
into the?
let me
Sodium chloride's a man-made thing.
How this experiment came to fruition was because we understand that you can have like a branch of a twig, right? You can be walking along the lake, and that branch
can't
will
win.
snap off a tree, and
Can't
the
beat us.
branch will sink, right? And then you could be walking along, and then another branch will break, fall, and then it will float. So now you're thinking to yourself, we have a branch that was sinking and a branch that floats. What's the cause of this phenomena in nature? So what we do is we take the variables from nature, which we think we predict the cause, which is the density or the salt in the water, and we replicate it. And what do we know? The outcome was the cause was the density of the medium, which caused the egg or the stick or whatever it was to float.
But
or
that's
sink.
not the point, Spurs. The point is that you continuously say, where do you see this in nature? Where have you ever seen this? Where do you see this ball swinging back and forth in nature? Oh my God, I've never seen this happen before. I've never seen things swing and process. Well, you probably never sat there and watched it long enough in a controlled environment where you could see it all happening. But that's beside the point. You said, where do I see this in... Hold on, you said, where do I see this in nature? And then you turn around and say, but Anthony's experiment, which we never see in nature, is totally okay because that's representation. We represented something else that's unusable. You represent something that's totally fine.
Have you ever been to the Dead Sea? Where
No,
it's
I
really
haven't.
salty.
Yeah.
I would love to
Right.
go, but I have not been there.
Right. So fight the fire.
You float on it. It's awesome.
Why do you float? What's the reason? Why are things
Because the
floating on
water
top of that
is
water?
really dense.
Right. So
There
the
is
point
a
is,
more
if-
up there. Wait. It's not just the density though. It's to do with the buoyant force now created by the dense salt water overcomes gravity.
No, but this is the thing. If you saw a twig on that water and it was floating, and then you saw a twig that was sinking, you would say, "Why did that happen? Why did that happen?"
That's
So you would
perfectly okay,
predict-
Spurs. You can ask the question why it happened, but have some intellectual dishonesty. Have some intellectual honesty. Truly, okay. When you have to be able to replicate that, right? And you're not always just going to be able, like when you see a tree stump fall into water, guess what? The tree's already in the water. There's no way to go back in time when the tree was not in the water. So that's what science does, is they set up situations that you can have very specific variables, very specific initial conditions, so that you can test these initial conditions versus what you think is going to happen. You can't just say, oh, look, the tree stump fell in the water and it sunk. Well, we can just make an assumption about that tree stump that it's heavier than, or that it's more dense than the water. And they say, oh, well, look, over here, there's another one that fell in the water and that one's floating. So that one's less dense. Well, is it because tree trunks are different densities all the time? Or is it because the water's different densities? There's so many different variables that you would need to test there. And what we're trying to say is, of course, when you do your test, you're not going to find it in the real world. You're not going to find a situation where you have one person, a natural in the real world, where you have one rock that's fucking sitting up there held by a rope on a perfect pendulum in a place where it's not going to be affected by air pressure and weather and whatever, and something's up there burning the string to let it drop. Of course you're not going to see that in reality. But you will see objects swinging in reality. Those two things are the same. So just because we're using it to set up our initial conditions so we can make predictions based on those conditions does not make it not science.
No, but what is the cause? That's what we're talking about. There's no cause in your experiment. Man is the cause. In nature, I didn't cause the branch to fall. I didn't cause the branch to float. Now we need to find out why is it floating.
What was the cause? What was the cause of Anthony Riley's egg floating in the water? Was it the density of the water, or was it because Anthony Riley dropped it in the water? Which one was the cause, Spurs?
And why didn't that egg fly right out to the top of the? Why did it kind of sit in the middle? You know, why did it not shoot up to the ceiling if the density is a force? which is one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever heard.
Not a-
Seriously,
not a
the
force.
day that Anthony Riley said to me,
Yeah, we
density
know.
is a force,
No, I don't.
It just broke me.
see how it's
Okay, so
force.
we're going to
No,
move
well,
past
he
that
would-
because
he
we've
would-
devolved into that other experiment, into Anthony Riley's experiment, because we were trying to tell you that you can't tell us that we
This
can't use
is an
something that's
egg.
a natural fucking observation. Said, well, that doesn't happen in real life.
Are
And then
you
over
saying
here we have
egg?
this over here that Anthony
Right.
Riley did that's perfectly
but-
explainable. So we're just going to get
Are
past
you
that
saying
point yet.
Are
Yeah.
you saying an egg wouldn't float in the Dead Sea?
I'm saying there aren't any eggs in the
No.
Dead Sea. Hold on. I'm saying there aren't any eggs in the Dead Sea.
So you're saying
So what?
birds
There aren't
yeah.
any. But Spurs. Hold on. The natural observation is there's no eggs in the Dead Sea. So what's the fucking point of your question? By
Well,
your
you've
own
never
definition, that no, even if we did see an egg floating in the Dead Sea, it would be irrelevant because it's not a natural observation. Somebody had to put that egg in there.
How do you know that? How do you know?
And
a
also,
bird-
Because we don't see eggs in the Dead
ask,
Sea.
Right, yeah.
Yes, but how
I
do
wanted
you know
to
a
ask Riley
bird-
this, but
how do you
Spurs,
pull out a bird's
one
neck?
sec. All right, Spurs, one sec. I've wanted to ask Riley this, but he won't talk to me because he says I was too mean to him. So, if I've got an egg and I put it in water and it doesn't float, right? But then I leave that same egg for a couple of weeks and I put it back in the water. Why does it float all of a sudden?
After a couple of weeks,
I didn't change the density of the water.
but the egg will float.
Why? Yeah. I mean, that's literally how you can test if the eggs are good to use or not.
Well, the egg's rotten, no? The same
Yeah, so
egg,
what-
a
you know-
good egg. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I've left the egg for 2 weeks, the same egg, and I put it back in the water and it now floats. Why?
Well, the egg is
What changed?
No? The egg. Inside the egg
Okay,
became more
so...
buoyant. Yeah?
Oh,
Did you
buoyancy.
say
I
you keep on
see.
buoyant?
Yeah, he did. Thank you, Spurs.
Yeah,
You just
so-
proved gravity.
Okay.
Cheers, bud.
All right, so we're going to continue on. You didn't have it. That was an incorrect explanation. You get no points for that question, Spurs. Okay, now the final one that we're going to cover, because you haven't covered either one of them, is the conservation of momentum question. You do understand that on our globe model, okay, when we lift off in a helicopter, the Earth at the equator, okay, the Earth should not. Well, actually, we're gonna do this. We're gonna ask you a question. I want you to fill in the blanks, Spurs. Okay? If a helicopter lifts off based on the heliocentric model, if a helicopter lifts off of the equator, the Earth either should or should not spin away from it at 1,000 miles per hour. Go.
Depending which
Dun,
way.
dun, dun,
So if it's
dun.
facing north.
No. We're just gonna say it's on the equator. It lifts straight up off the ground. So the equator's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. It's going. It's fast as fuck, and then the helicopter lifts off. The Earth should either spin underneath the helicopter at 1,000 miles per hour, or it should not spin under the helicopter at all.
Not in your model, no, but in reality it should, yeah.
Wait, no. What?
In your model.
What? Not in our model it wouldn't, but in reality it should. That is the classic one. Spurs. Oh my goodness, my
What
dude,
you just
man.
said is
Yeah.
one of the most insanely
Yes.
idiotic things I have ever heard.
Perfect.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh my god.
Sorry, that was the most appropriate thing I could find.
I've been waiting for that all night, actually.
Yeah, so anyway.
Like I say, but we don't live on a model, right? So if the Earth were really...
Mr. Madison will go first.
Oh,
Mr.
hold on,
Gordon,
shut that off.
choose the topic.
Okay,
Sorry.
so Spurs, you can't say that, man, because the model helps us build predictions. So here's the model, okay? We're on the Earth. The helicopter comes off of the Earth, okay? The Earth spins. It still spins. It never stopped. The helicopter either spins with the Earth or it stays in place and the Earth spins underneath it. All right? Now, you just said on our model it should spin with it, but in reality it should not spin with it. Explain.
Yes, because the atmosphere is not fixed.
That's not what. That has nothing to do with what I just said.
Well, I'm not finished. So let's
No,
say, for
I'm
example-
saying. No, hold on. I'm saying, how can our model make a prediction that doesn't match what we should see in reality?
Right, so you say when a sniper fires a
No.
bullet...
No, had nothing
No,
to do with
we're talking about a helicopter.
Spurs.
Yes, I'm about...
How can you say? Listen, how can you say that our model should make one prediction, but in reality our model says something different? It doesn't. It's the same model. If the model says the helicopter should stay over the fixed point, then when we look in reality, we should see the helicopter staying over a fixed point. We shouldn't see the helicopter or the Earth spinning underneath it, because if we did, then we would see that there's a contradiction with our model.
We would throw the model out.
That's the purpose of this whole thing, Spurs. The model.
Why? Okay, so the reason why it doesn't match reality is because
Okay.
if you've got a helicopter and you've got a sniper in that helicopter and you fire a round of bullets from your gun and yeah, so if you fire the bullets and the Earth is moving under the bullets but not the helicopter.
This is why Spurs is a Poe. He cannot actually address anything directly.
Spurs.
He has to obfuscate and change topics.
Spurs, listen, I'm not talking about
That's me why-
snipers. I'm not even talking about the Coriolis Force. I'm talking about a predictive model. Do you understand what a predictive model is?
You cannot make predictions.
Hold
What
on,
kind of
hold on. Do
prediction?
you understand what a predictive model is?
Yeah, so you think
Okay,
you're
okay.
predicting
So,
this.
yes.
Yeah.
So we can make predictions based on the rotation of the Earth, and we can test those predictions out. Should our predictions not match our testable results, right? Then we throw that model out because that model's wrong. Everything you're saying tonight is contradicting. We're saying we have a model. The model matches our reality. You say we have a model. The model matches the reality. Until you are in reality, then it no longer matches reality. But that's not what a model is.
I've just told you why. You're not listening. If you've
But that's
got
not
a
the
helicopter,
point. We could use it about anything,
Wait,
Spurs.
let him. Let him
If
get.
your model-
Say that about the helicopter
your
again, Spurs.
model- Yeah, if the model matched reality, which is that a sniper or the Earth will move under his bullet, but if he's shooting from a helicopter, and let's say the helicopter goes up, there's an X underneath that helicopter where the helicopter will stay over that X, and then you have a sniper shooting random, many bullets at the horizon. You say it moves under the
Which horizon? The real one or the actual one?
The dirty air
anyone
horizon.
you want, any horizon you want. But you'll say to us the Earth is moving under the bullet, but not the helicopter.
Okay,
That's
Skeptic, I'm
impossible,
going to make you a deal at this point. If you ever have Spurs on again, I'm done with you. I swear to God.
No, Spurs is a good dude. Spurs is a good dude. I think he dodges a lot. He doesn't answer
It's always a
questions.
good
He didn't answer.
conversation.
But
He does a lot. He dodges always.
every fucking question was a dodge, Spurs. You can't even answer the question I asked based on models, not based on a helicopter with bullets or any kind of example. I just wanted to know how can you come up with the assertion that our model makes a prediction, the prediction matches reality, but when it matches reality, it really doesn't match the model. That's not a way of addressing that.
You haven't said.
It matches our predictions. It matches what we predict. We see a helicopter go up, the helicopter stays above it. Why? Because the Earth is spinning. They're both spinning at 15 degrees per hour around a central access point.
Here's the thing, Skeptic. We all know he's a Poe. There is no denying that. Even Chat saying he's a Poe. If you're going to entertain a Poe,
already,
for entertainment's sake, it's
every
really
time
an
I try
argument.
to respond,
Hold
you've
on,
got
guys.
Sean
Hold on.
responding. He's been doing this for years now, so I don't understand why he's
Okay.
still involved in this discussion for a start. So, look, it's late for me here now, and like I say, we've got 3 against 1. You guys are losing the globe. And
Oh, wow.
Sean realizes that he cannot prove anything with science. So he's attacking the person, which is me, which is fine.
Did you just say we're losing the globe? There's one behind me.
I see it.
Yeah,
Spurs,
I
Spurs,
mean,
think about this.
This
How
is the
many
point
people in
here.
Flat Earth do I call
Sean doesn't really have any arguments these days. All he has is personal attacks because when he realizes that what he tries to demonstrate
Wait,
can be shown.
apart from
to be
the
false.
experiments that he keeps doing
So,
and the live demonstrations that he keeps doing, of course.
Thank
Yeah, of
you
course.
for having me on. Team.
Except for-
I'm called FTFE now.
Thank you for having me on.
Well,
And,
hey,
you know,
hold
like
on.
I
Don't
say,
don't leave just yet, Spurs. I want to say thanks for before you leave.
Yeah,
I
I should
don't.
have realised anyway because Sean is from the old days with Red and Sly and you know, I don't know why he's getting involved with you guys here. I mean, usually he's with Red and doing
Because
his
he's
own
the
thing
voice.
somewhere else.
Just listen to him.
He's
And now-
amazing. Sean's. You
and
know what?
now-
I'll tell you what, Spurs. I'll tell you some behind the scene
Yeah.
things about Sean real quick, so that way you can have a different kind of appreciation.
I know Sean
He's
from-
one
from-
of the
from back
few
in the day.
people.
Yeah.
Listen, he's one of the few people that calls other people out on their bullshit. He doesn't give anybody a pass just because he believes the same thing they believe. So
Yeah, Sean
I
has
have
a lot
no
of problems.
problem keeping
Both-
Sean around,
but
even though
on
he's corrected me
individuals,
several
not-
times.
Yeah, not demonstrating the claims. Instead of looking at the individual, which you know you
But
would do.
Spurs,
have a lot
you've
of-
seen my channel. I have demonstrated everything I've said.
No, you haven't demonstrated.
He-
You come
he's-
with
he's
your
one of the
idea,
few-
your assumptions,
Okay.
and what
Well,
you think.
Well, look,
Okay.
Spurs, I want to say thank you for coming on. We'll end it here
Yeah.
tonight. Simon Dan hit me up and said something about me and you debating about air pressure on his channel. Did you still want to do that?
Yeah, we need to get into that. Yeah, we need to you know, get into the ins and outs of
Okay.
how they
Wowzers.
But I would like to ask Spurs one thing that chat keeps reminding me of. Spurs, how many experiments have you done?
I've done various experiments, various measurements, and
Where's your videos for those? Because I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, if you want to prove the flat Earth, sure, that's something you have to do yourself, right?
So you're not going to show us your experiment because there are none on your channel dealing with experimentation.
Not an experiment, you would have to have an observed phenomenon. Okay, the Earth.
So
is
you said you've done
observable.
experiments, but you haven't presented any. Where are your experiments?
Yeah, it's easy to replicate things floating and sinking, Sean. Anyone can do that. It's repeatable.
So you're not even going to answer that simple question of where are your experiments?
Oh, so you want me to upload a video of me pouring salt into water?
We
No,
want
that
to
was
see
dumb.
anything.
That was
good
dumb.
experiment.
Don't do that,
You
Spurs.
say that I've not done anything with experiments, but my channel clearly demonstrates that's not true. And people keep asking for your experiments. All you do is talk, and dodge.
Right?
Hold on, guys. Don't talk over each
There
other.
you go.
Go ahead, Spurs.
Well, again, that's a demonstration that we understand so far of how you can use the natural and physical world and the scientific method. You haven't done that, Sean. All you've done is take a device, a phone, which somebody's inputted their own numbers and said, look, here's the pressure.
That's all I've done.
What does
Let's see.
that
I
mean?
built a flat Earth model to scale in my backyard. I have predicted using the globe Earth model on exactly where to point my drone for a sunrise. Well, let's see what else. I've done the air pressure thing, like you said.
Yeah, all of it is presupposed.
You've shown the horizon not rising to eye level.
I've shown the horizon not rising to eye level. I've shown multiple sunsets and sunrises just by gaining or lowering altitude, which is something the flat Earth can't actually.
You showed why we can see the stars at such a distance with a drone and a laser.
No, all of Sean's experiments with the drones, the sun, it's all debunked. He hasn't
So,
manipulated
really,
the atmosphere. He hasn't
Please,
variables.
point to one thing ever debunking one of my videos.
Yeah, please.
I would love to see one.
Okay. Well, hey guys,
It's
listen.
not scientific, is it?
We're wrapping this up. So we're wrapping this up. If we want to have a night where you two guys come on and have a chat with one another about very specific topics, and everybody else will stay out of it, I'd be more than willing. I'd love to have Sean come on and live destroy somebody. I know you just did, but I mean like in a formatted version. But I do want to end everything first. Spurs, thank you very much, sir, for coming on.
Thank you, team.
well,
thank you, Mike, and obviously thank you, Sean. But you know, like I say, Sean, you take this. Obviously, you're realizing that the Earth is not a globe. You're panicking, so you want, very few people to come forward and show that you don't have any.
Oh God, that hurt.
That was
Is my left arm supposed to be numb?
Yeah, so leave the personals out, because if it did get personal, that's not what it's about, is it? It's about proving your claims, and you asked
Which
them
I've
about
done.
Flat Earth.
You have done nothing.
Hey,
to prove
Spurs.
your point.
And I've told you, they've been debunked.
Spurs, you do me a
If they've been
favour.
debunked, you can't say, I have proved something.
But it's never been debunked. Can you do me a favour? Next time you speak to Riley, can you give him my commiserations for failing his masters?
No, well, again, there's more to that story and positive things. So we'll see in the future. So
Oh, they're going to give him a
Yes,
third
if
try.
he has failed.
That's another thing. They're going to give him a third try.
Tell Riley to come on, Spurs. Well, hey, look, Spurs, you're in contact with him. Tell him to come on. Say, we'll all be friends. We'll be nice, and we won't talk about the purple dildo.
Speak for
one
yourself. I'm never being nice to that fucktard.
time. Shut up. Won't bring up the purple dildo. Okay. But hey, thanks
Oh,
again,
that's his best
Spurs.
friend.
I appreciate you coming on, man,
All
and
right.
we'll get you on in the
Nice.
future again. Hey, my bad about the mix-up on the time thing, man. You're actually right on that one. So you take
yeah,
it easy,
no
bro.
worries, no worries. It happens, no worries. Take care.
Neil,
Later.
Neil Mellon says that he has
See you
proved
later,
something tonight.
Spurs.
Okay. So, I do need to kind of start getting
Team.
off. So let me, yeah.
Team, I hate you. Don't ever do that to me again.
Yeah, never again, team. Never again. It was entirely. It was entertaining at points, but it literally was a frustrating argument in futility because he would never address anything. That is Spurs' MO. He just literally wants the platform and attention. That is it. Don't play into
Something
him.
swingy isn't natural.
Yeah, that's stupid to say that. But okay, so we're done for the evening, guys. So let's oh, look at that, everybody! New member Eldon S. Everybody, show him your dinger. Her, I guess, him or her. I don't know. I'm assuming it's a him. Show Eldon your dingers, and be sure to smash on the dinger for him real hard. And then when you're done with that, you know what's next, fellas? Hit him with the night.
Skeptic.
Huh?
You're getting a lot of flack for having Spurs.
Oh yeah, it's
Never
it's
again.
just fun. It's just fun, guys. We all have fun doing this. And then let's see.
You Globers have no
Spurs.
science, oh goodness
Yeah.
me.
Then shoot the messenger. Oh my gosh. And then Mandelbrot, Team Skeptic. Are you not entertained? That was my best try. no. Hey, William,
Hey,
don't hide
team-
him, man. What are you doing? Don't hide Spurs. Come on.
Yeah.
Come
Team,
on,
can I
man.
give a shout out
Hold
to
on.
someone in the chat?
Yeah, but you guys, if you're my mods,
Yeah.
please don't do stupid shit like that. That's really not what I make you a mod for, is to just hide Spurs. Come on. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to the Heretic Zombie, someone that I know from my old Married to Xbox days. Thanks for coming along, dude, and it's really good to see you.
Hey, yeah. Welcome to your first Team Skeptic shit show.
Yeah, this is Flat Earth. You're welcome.
Spunky's like a cat with a mouse, but the mouse is already dead, so it's just not that entertaining.
And it's all good, Williams. No big deal. It happens. We all have fun, but Spurs, if it was like Southern Israelite, I'd be like, yo, everybody, I'd make every single person a fucking mod just so they get an opportunity to hide that piece of shit. But okay, so that was the show for tonight. It was I was just about to say exactly what Factard just typed. That was still fun. I still had a good time, even though it was a fucking shit show. Let me go over, before we do our exits, let me go over the super chats that came in. Okay, and I believe, let's see. Okay, I think we, oh, well, let me see. Just Laughing. Oh, I don't know if I noticed Just Laughing. Just Laughing became a member. Thank you very much, Just Laughing. If we didn't already show you our dingers, I'm at least going to show you mine right now.
I think we did, but he can get some more dingers.
Yeah, you get more dingers and more meat tubes. And oh yeah, your eyes are going to
And
be...
a couple of mankinis.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Your eyes, I'm just about to destroy your eyes with mankinis now. So in case we didn't blind you earlier, we have now blinded you again. And yeah, Chris Brady, yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of people are going to want to hide him and whatnot. But Spurs isn't a bad person. Spurs isn't, at least as far as I know. He's never done me wrong, and I've never found anything truly horrendous about him that would cause me to say, just keep that guy out of here.
Well, there's stuff that's about his past that I won't bring up on air because, yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So yes, we have Carl Christofferson with his 20 sacks. Hi team, here's some sex. Thank you very much. DJ Mose, 10 pounds. Oh yeah, that's right. I thought he had given me 1,000 pounds. Thanks. Thanks, DJ Mose. All right, so Demonic Davros, I think we did you. $2 Australian, never apologize to a flurf. God Ratley, I think that's what, yeah, God Ratley. I would love to be a flurf for 10 minutes and let daddy hurt me. Ooh, I'd hurt you too, God Ratley. I can't read anymore. I'm getting old, fellas. Okay. So, then we have Flurfs or Idiots with 10 Canadian dollars. One of my members. Thank you very much. Ask him to explain the spinning of the stars different in northern and southern hemispheres, or how seedlings know which way is up when growing. These Flurf idiots drive me insane. Yeah, and the seedlings are a good way to prove that it's not man-made. We don't program gravity into seeds. So, just like we don't program an accelerometer to know which way is down.
They'll just claim it's CGI.
Yeah, CGI.
Seeds or CGI?
CGI.
Fuck me.
CGI.
Hey.
That's awesome. All right, Jet Guitars, Fake Horizon, copyright 2019, Spurs Chemo, Flat Derperies Incorporated. Don't forget to also mention the Dirty Air Horizon. We have a Fake Horizon and Dirty Air Horizon, both of them. In one sitting, guys. That's how awesome this was. Ranger Man 9404. God damn, I'm getting old. Son of a bitch. Alright, he's invented a new logical fallacy called the argument from idiots. Ding. Yes, he's a fucking idiot. Love you, Spurs, you're an idiot. Alright, Carrie Oliver, $50. Thank you, Carrie Oliver. I truly appreciate it. Flat Earth was lost. Maybe it's time for lizard men and skinwalkers. Or how about some whiskey and strippers? I like the whiskey and strippers idea. Carrie, I do.
I've got the whiskey. Can someone send strippers?
Yeah, right. Carl Christofferson, another 26. At Spurs, this is natural, not supernatural, right? Yeah, that whole natural argument, that's their way of getting out of jail free, of not having to answer a question, in my opinion. Oh, but that's not a natural observation you're talking about. That's a man-made observation. It still relies on natural forces. I mean, you don't see the guy in there pushing. Now, look, here's the thing. Let's say the pendulum swung away and it came up and the guy took his hand and pushed it and it came back and he took his hand and pushed it and he said, look, every time I push it, it goes to the right a little bit. Must be the spinning of the earth. No. I would be like all over that shit. Get the fuck out of here. But that's not what's happening. He's lighting it. It then starts to free fall. When it's free falling, it's under its own forces. And the fact of the matter is if you increase the size of the ball, you decrease the impact of the little friction forces that everything has on it. So anyway, moving on. All right. John Rapp, $5 Australian. I'm calling Spurs' argument a thesis fallacy. You'd have to let me know which argument you were talking about. They were all pretty bad, though. All right. Okay, so let's go to Lucian Andries. 10 Rons. Copernicus was a NASA shill. No proof, just belief. You know, I read up some. I was reading up on some of the people in the early astronomers and the early physicists and mathematicians. They were all they all believed in God. Like, none of them were atheists. So I don't understand, how when people argue that point and say, oh man, they just hated religion. They just, their whole attempt is to take God out of our lives. No, that's not true. Okay.
There's absolutely no reason why God couldn't have created the universe with the physics that we observe and measure. You know, I personally, I'm agnostic-ish. I don't really believe in a God, but I could never say there isn't a God. But there is no reason why, if there is a God, he could not have created the world as a globe with the physics that we know. It's as simple as that.
And apparently, C4 is feeling ignored in the chat. So everybody gives
We love you, C4.
Yeah, we love you. Give him a sympathy hug.
Mankinis for all.
I'm gonna give him a sympathy mankini. Or
yeah,
20.
me too. Or 20. Here. This is for you. C4.
Agency update. What? Why are you asking me about an agency update?
Yeah, because he keeps saying that you need to get an agent and use that voice to make
Oh,
millions
yeah.
of dollars.
Yeah, millions of dollars. Okay.
I want to see you doing the trailer for the next Avengers movie.
No, I can't do that kind of voice. Not well. I've
Okay.
tried, and yeah.
£5 from UTB Doug. Donation for Futfa's replacement oven gloves. I think he's earned a new pair tonight. You did. Fight the Flat Earth.
Yeah.
Futfa. I'm sorry, Futfa. Steven Steen, $1.99. Spurs is dominating once again. Steven, you and I have different definitions of domination.
Well, I actually laughed at them because coming from Steven Steen, you know that you're winning when he says the exact opposite.
Yeah, right. I would be worried if Steven Steen was like, "Good job, Team Skeptic. You're winning." Like,
Yeah,
what am I
that's when
doing
you gotta
wrong? What am I doing wrong? All right. Gravity Axe, $2 Spurs is dribbling again. Yeah, he is. Let's see. Carl Christopherson. He really didn't answer. That's the thing. When I asked him about the models, there's a simple way to answer is to address the question that I asked. Not say, well, when a sniper gets into a helicopter. No, that's not what I said. I wanted to address the point you just made. You said the model makes one prediction which matches reality, but when we put it in reality, the model doesn't match reality. That doesn't make any sense.
That's because, like I said, whenever Spurs has to answer a question, he will do everything he can do to avoid it by diverting the topic or changing the entire parameters. That's exactly what he did this entire night.
Zevin Bulka says, "Hello from Winnipeg." Let's show him some mankinis.
Even on Jose a couple days ago,
Texas.
or like last week when I dealt with Spurs about the whole air pressure thing that he conveniently forgot about, he does that a lot too. I even pointed out that Spurs has one card in his debate deck: duck, dodge, avoid, and run. That's it.
Okay, so continuing on, let's see. Carl Christopherson, 26. Try to put a barometer in your freezer. Yeah, I don't think it goes down in pressure, does it? Sean?
Well, if you put, I was actually going to offer this as an experiment for Spurs because he said that because it's going up and the temperature inside the bottle was so high, to fill the bottom of a 2-liter bottle with like we're going to use Celsius here, say 50 degrees Celsius water, just the bottom third of the bottle, and then put that in the fridge, and then watch as the bottle collapses as it cools down.
All right. Sean John. Aussie Globit. Aussie. All right. He says 100011111100001. This will explain everything.
So rude.
Just don't tell Spurs. We'll see. I held off to the end so he'd leave. Now he has no fucking clue, Aussie. That's just going to stay between us. Gravity Axe, also from Australia, $10 Australian for the victims of all aircraft that have exploded because they went too high. Exactly. Eldon S., the new member. Yes, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you.
Exponents has an idea to get JM Truth to hire me as the narrator for his documentary.
Oh God, look at Rozovsky. Shout out for all my homies in Lenfair, Polgwanigwal, Gagarichu, Mudrabal, William T. Silagagagach, Wales. Thank you. I tried.
Every Welsh person is going to scream at you. No, that was so bad.
I agree with you.
Gok, that's all I know.
I agree with you. That was horrible. That was fucking absolutely
that's the
horrible.
that's the name of a train station in Wales.
Is it really? How do you say that?
Yeah.
I need to know.
I just know it ends in Gok.
Search.
Then we have so fucking what, or what, but I know what you're saying. So fucking
That's
what.
an actual fucking word.
Yep.
Spurs
Not
has
getting
no
it.
intellectual honesty. For $2 or two pounds. Spurs has no intellectual honesty. Flurf logic. Yeah, it's hard to get a Flurfer to be consistent in his beliefs and his intellectual honesty.
I mean, for
Intellectual
Christ's sakes,
integrity.
even the short form of the name is insanely long.
Yeah.
Who
Welcome to the Welsh language.
names their city that? Let's see what Rosofsky's
Welsh?
Oh my god, I love Steven Steen. He's got a great fucking final
Oh,
super chat.
Steven.
Steven Steen for $1.99. Mandelbrot set is scared of the truth. Timed me out. Oh man, Mandelbrot. Good timeout, bud. Good timeout. No, I love Steven. He's a
Everyone
good
time
dude,
out
man.
Steven
Good
Steen.
dude. Yeah, just no. Well, hold on, not yet. We'll make sure we'll do that at the end. We'll make that our last action of the day is going to be everybody taking a turn at timing out Steven Steen, because we got to keep him from spreading the truth about flat Earth, guys. John Rapp, John Rapp, $5 My super chat rejected comment in chat at 8 minutes past your hour. My super chat rejected comment in chat. I wonder
It
what
may
that
have
means.
had a word that YouTube didn't like. Maybe I think he tried to do a super chat, but it didn't go through.
I'll
Sometimes
check.
YouTube sees a word or a possible word and doesn't let it through.
There you go, Skeptic. I just pasted the actual pronunciation of that damn word.
What?
That's the actual pronunciation. I have no clue.
Fanver Punt
Pronounced.
Gwingrigo Gara Zwarm Drobut Tanto Sichan Go Go Go. Oh god, I think I worded it worse the second time around. Okay.
Got me all screwed up.
Yeah. Christopher Brady, team, you coming to DC anytime soon? I've actually thought about doing the Globe Earth Truth Tour and just getting in my car and driving from one city to the next and hanging out with some of you weirdos, and maybe getting together and getting groups of people together that live in the same city and having just a little Skeptics conference just to do the meetup that they're doing. But we'll do it and we'll just have a few beers, get to know each other, laugh at some
Man,
idiots.
I want to come
and
to Texas.
move the fuck around. So, I have an update on that. I have an update on the November thing. It's coming up, guys. It's coming up. Okay, and then let's see.
Before
Go
you
ahead.
go on quickly, this is how it's said.
Oh, hold on. Let me share you.
Come
real
on,
quick.
get to it.
Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll go ger y chwyrn drobo llan Cecilia go go goch.
Go, go,
Llanfair
go.
Pwllgwyngyll go ger y chwyrn drobo llan Cecilia go go goch.
It
There
sounds
you
like
go.
she's trying
There's
to.
the best language in the world.
It sounds like she's reaching her like a quit.
Sounds like somebody needs to fucking pay for an exorcist. Okay, so last three super chats. We have Darth Killer for €2. CGI, copyrighted graphical intelligence. We're going to save Steven Steen for the last one. We have Soul Lixus, £2. All flurfers seem to have paranoia dyscalculia. Paranoia dyscalculia, I agree. Plus, they're all fucking idiots. That's real life right there for you. And then our final super chat of the night, Steven Steen, penis. Awesome, great super chat. Loved saying it. Okay, so we're done for tonight, guys. We're gonna wrap this up. A little bit on our plate.
And it's
for the
begun.
next couple- Huh? What did you interrupt me for?
Just saying it's begun.
No, what has begun?
The timing out
something?
of Steven Steen.
Oh, yes, guys, show Steven Steen some love and time his ass out. This is the one time that I'm going to say that everybody who's a mod, go ahead and time Steven Steen out for using the word penis. Scat the Skeptic Squirrel for $5. You are a pointless person who wastes good air, Steven Steen. Oh, we love him around here. We love it. We love having him come around. But honestly, if you're a mod and John Rapp here, I'm sorry, John Rapp, you're not a mod. Let's go ahead and make you a mod so you can go ahead and get your time out in there. And then let's see. Oh, Darth Killer, €5. Do you come to DC anytime soon? What about Marvel? Oh, yeah, I love Marvel, but I do have my DC tattoos up here, my Joker tattoos. So, got my love for the DC.
Nice.
But anyway, guys, this weekend, what we have coming up, we are about to have a show tonight on Sean Hufford's channel. Go ahead, Sean Hufford, since you're starting us off, getting out of here. I'll let you talk about your upcoming show.
Well, like I said in the beginning, tonight we're holding a memorial for Strike, who passed away on the 21st. He was a huge member of the community. He wasn't a very outspoken one as far as being widely known by a lot of people, but the people he did know, he had a huge impact on their lives. And the funeral was on, I think, Saturday or Sunday of last week, and a lot of people weren't able to go to that. So we're holding a memorial for those that knew him in social media that weren't able to go to his funeral. As an aside, after his funeral was done, the family posted a GoFundMe because he didn't have life insurance. So they were going to need some help with the funeral arrangements to get that paid off. So that's kind of a secondary thing with the memorial. But it's going to be a very pronounced one because they need the help. And with as much help as Cy has given to everybody else, it's only right to reciprocate that. Help his family. And he helped his internet family so much.
Absolutely.
So that will be at midnight tonight Eastern. So 2 hours from now is when that'll start. I'm not going to control the chat. There will be no drama. There will be no discussion of the shape of the earth. I will be instructing everybody who's got moderator status on my channel that if anybody brings up any kind of debate topic, to immediately ban them from the chat. I am playing no games. There will be no drama there tonight. It's not a debate topic. It's a memorial.
Yes. And a great way to honor a good man. So let's all be on our best behavior. Let's all have a good time. And let's meet up at Sean's channel in 2 hours, guys. You'll see me there for sure tonight. But you're also going to have me working on my other... Or Sean, do you have anything else to add to that before we move on?
No.
Okay. So, so before I talk about my upcoming stuff, Fight the Flat Earth, you have something going on tomorrow, correct?
Yes, I've got a debate, hopefully, because the guy has stopped replying, but I do have a couple on standby. So, yeah, there will definitely be a show tomorrow night, 1 a.m. UK time, so 7 p.m. for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, 7 Central, 8 Eastern.
Yeah.
All right.
And then Monday I've got another debate as well, so.
Nice. All right. And
Awake Souls on Monday.
Ugh.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
For fun, I guess.
Despise that guy. I despise him.
Oh, yeah. I'm
He's
not
a
going to be
vile
nice.
human
I'm
being.
not going to be nice.
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. All right. So, now I guess it's on to me and my what's coming up, and I guess I'm going to do my outro, and you guys get to watch me fail as I failed in every outro so far. So we're going to try this again, and we're going to try not to fail, but you know how it goes, guys. Failure time. All right, so for the next 2 days, I have my part 2 video coming out. The part 2 video is really good. I have about 10 more minutes to record of it. Most of it's already mixed down. It's all flat earth stuff from that guy Christopher Green. It's fucking good. So we'll be seeing you guys for that. I don't know if I'll have it ready for you tomorrow. I'm going to get my channel members and my patrons to get early access to it. So I'll probably have a version of it for them tomorrow. And then Sunday, you'll probably be seeing the new video come out. And also on Sunday, I have my 20,000 subscriber special. So yes, we made it. We're past 20,000. We're not going to stop at every 10,000 moving forward. We stopped at 10. We stopped at 20. We'll have a little get-together at 30 and 40, but our next celebration is at 50. Okay, so we got to get it out there. We got to push this shit harder. Make sure we kill stupidity. Fight the Flat Earth says it best. Come on, Fight the Flat
Stupidity is not a right. fight the flat Earth.
That's right. We have another super chat. Eldon S 20 Knox Nokia dollars. You guys are awesome. Nah, Eldon, you're fucking awesome, bro. Appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. I guess let me go full screen so everybody can witness my failure full screen. Okay. Oh fuck! I closed down my camera. Hold on. Oh, and vMix is messing up. It won't let me open it. I've got to restart vMix to open my camera. Okay, guys. So you're not gonna get to see me fail tonight. You're only gonna get to hear me here. Oh, time to put up the pug. Yes, bring out the pug. Bring out the pug. All right, guys, everybody, thank you very much for y'all being here tonight. This was amazing. I know you can't see me, but I'm absolutely joyful right now. I have tears of absolute joy coming out, rolling down my eyes. Let me make sure that wasn't a new super chat. No, okay, that was Stringer. All right, thank you, everybody, for your super chats and donations tonight. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you on Sunday for the 20,000 subscriber special. I'm Father Skeptic. I know you can't see me fail, but I'm out.